What's up, everybody?
Oh, so this is how we're laid out.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Oh. Questions.
There was a
We'll get to the
network error.
questions.
Please try again.
Yeah, we probably want to wait a few seconds for people
Yeah.
to roll in.
We weren't able to do the stream starting soon screen this time, so
Oh, okay.
might want to wait for people to actually come in.
Side.
If you're here, say something in the chat.
Yo.
The Arcadian.
Hey, how's
Hey,
it
what's up, Arcadian?
going? I was just talking about you the other day.
That's
Your ears
the
burning.
band you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The song
you
was.
get-
You can finish that sentence because otherwise it sounds a little awkward.
I feel like they're gonna release it, or like
Oh,
no
yeah.
spoilers, no spoilers.
I guess it's gonna be a while before we can do another music video, huh?
Yeah. Well, we could
Exactly.
just do like solo shots of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
should
production
do
style.
one of those for sure. Like everybody
Yeah,
record
we'll do
a
a
video, we edit it
quarantine video.
together. Yeah.
That'll be fun. Fun quarantine bids. Stuff like that.
Hey Tim. Well, I have
What's up?
this. Not quite scotch.
Scotch. Hey, ST3 Mage, how's it going?
If I pause the video, will I still see chat live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I believe that's Stemmage.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Stemmed.
Yeah,
think
that's certainly what it spells.
Stamage.
Oh, hey, what's up,
Stamage.
Grant?
I did my best. Okay.
I've got some Jim Beam vanilla whiskey.
Oh yes, everyone share your beverages.
Jameson.
I'm drinking
Hey, Real Monster D, how's it going?
Chesapeake Orange Crush Cider.
I think Matt has the girliest beer. I think it happened.
Mine's pretty girly. It's
I mean,
a
mine's
stone,
super girly.
It's a stone hazy IPA. I thought it said watermelon IPA initially, but it says never-ending haze.
I don't know how you misread
I feel like those are
words.
very
Well,
different
how
words.
is that a girly drink?
Hey, Six Dose Down.
Because
What's
the
up,
can
Sicko?
is bright blue and pink.
That
Ew,
color,
girls.
It's very low alcohol percentage. It's 4%.
And it's an
I
IPA?
don't associate IPAs with low alcohol percentage.
Yeah, not
So-
normally.
It's basically
not
water.
typically.
It's flavored water.
Hey, Mitchy Mouse.
I'm just posting this shit everywhere,
Victory
so
Cloud Walker.
ignore
Welcome,
me for
everybody.
now.
Hey, everybody.
Somebody is recommending Victory Cloudwalker IPA for Andy.
I think, yeah, I've had something from Victory before. So, yeah,
Oh, don't
I'll
they make
definitely check
that?
out.
Like, don't they have like a golden monkey beer or something? I really
Is that
like
Victory?
That's them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Victory.
And Brass,
Mm.
like Golden Monkey.
I've had
and-
Gold Monkey. That shit is strong.
It is so tasty.
Isn't it technically like a brandy wine sort of thing, or?
I have no idea. I really
Golden
like the
Monkey
Gold
is it's a beer, I think. I mean, it's got
like a
a lot
weird
of
thing.
it's got a lot of stuff in it.
It's like
Sour
9%.
Monkey.
It's intense.
Sour Monkey. That's what I was thinking of, Tim.
There's also the Sour Monkey, which is
Okay.
the
Belgian
the same
triple.
brand.
It's a
just
Belgian
different-
triple.
I don't like the Sour Monkey as much. It tastes
I had the
really weird. I
Schloss.
generally like sours.
Victory Storm King is the only beer to hang me over after one.
Ooh, that's rough.
It's rough stuff, man. Rough stuff. Matt, do we want to start with questions or?
Oh, hang on. One more thing.
Okay. It's fine. We'll keep talking about alcohol. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
keep
yeah,
talking
I have
about
all
something.
day. So. I'm drinking Red's Wicked Black Cherry, which I really like.
Apparently, there's a tropic monkey.
8%. I didn't realize it was so alcoholic. This could be a very interesting time.
Yeah.
I don't get it done.
Hmm I drank a, what was it called? It was some raspberry beer. Oh, it was a Dragon's Milk raspberry beer. It tasted so good, and we didn't realize until after we started drinking that it was like 12%.
Nice.
That sounds.
We were
pretty good.
obliterated.
Was it a
was bad.
Renaissance festival type night?
I mean, it was worse. I don't remember
Oh.
parts of that night. There were pictures of me like lying on the kitchen floor, and I was like, I don't remember being on the kitchen floor.
Oh, I remember
So
that.
that was rough stuff. Dragon's milk is amazing, though.
I don't
And
like the
apparently
name.
They do like a different flavor every year. They have like a different specialty.
What is in that name, Kojo?
I wouldn't want to suckle on a dragon's teat.
Glad that's where you go.
You
with it.
haven't lived, my friend.
Stewart's Diet oranges and cream soda. I mean, I bet if it was alcoholic, it would be even better. Not that it needs to
I
be alcohol,
love
but cream
orange
soda
cream
alcohol
soda.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Cream soda is great.
Steel Crawler, we'll have a drink or two, but not too much, usually.
Well, let's be honest.
Oh
here.
no.
We kind of have to
didn't even
separate
see that.
people from each other to clarify.
Some people need to be distanced from the alcohol until closer to after the set, so we have to keep an eye out on those specific individuals, not mentioning any names, Sean. Hey,
I've had my
Bitwars.
moments for certain shows that I'm not proud of.
Well, you don't have people pour alcohol into your mouth while you
That's
play.
true.
That's part of the that's part of the show.
That
I-
doesn't count.
I do that for the fans.
It's not an act.
Sure.
It makes some wicked awesome pictures, though.
It does.
Okay.
And some interesting videos. Oh,
Is-
sorry.
So
Hi.
how we're
Bit Wars Mercenary.
going to do this is we have a bunch of questions that have already been asked, and we're going to go through those, and then after we're done with that, we're going to do questions from the chat. So if you have any questions for us, just hold off till the end. And yeah, we're going to start. So the first
Ooh.
question is from our good friend Tim Serball. He asks, I'm always obsessed with set lists. Who writes the set list for each show?
Everybody. Actually, mostly Andy and I. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some songs are hard. Like, I feel like Andy and I are the ones that are like, I can't do those two songs back to back or I will die. Everybody else is kind of just like, I don't care. It's whatever.
I mean, I do
But-
care. Like, I care about the flow, but I definitely leave it.
You
to
just know
two.
that you can't fight that fight.
Yeah, that's like. I mean,
It's a
if you
losing battle.
physically can't do it, that's
Right.
Trump's all.
Yeah.
I think we
Um,
usually agree on like the opener. That's kind of
Hmm.
usually always the same.
And the closer, typically.
Hmm.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
very often close with the mountain.
Yeah, it's such a great song to close with. Just
So classic.
it's classic, it's energetic, and it's honestly real easy.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even if we're
super
totally
easy.
tired, we can like play the mountain on repeat in our sleep. So,
So when I'm like drunk by the end of the set,
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
that's definitely not the
Yeah.
reason.
it's my
Oh,
reason.
guys, definitely not.
All right, the next question is. Okay, so this is actually a question that we get pretty often, and 3 separate people actually asked this: Dark Knight 22679, Shigrano, and Hunter Chew. And they all want to know if we'll ever do an album that's not Zelda related.
I feel like a lot of people want us to, so I'm into
I
it.
forgot who it was. I was talking to one of you guys. I was saying it would be really cool if we did like a one-off album every once in a blue moon. That's a collection of
Mhm.
songs from something else.
Yeah.
You know.
If I had to pick any other game, though, I would probably pick Castlevania, but that's just me. So
I mean, Castlevania is great.
There are lots of game soundtracks I like. So
there are.
Yeah.
I'd
We
be
haven't
open
really
to it.
discussed it. There's too much Zelda material
Yeah.
for us to like consider
There's a whole
branching
lot of
out.
stuff.
I
I'd say like
also-
when we feel a little bit tapped out, maybe we'll start looking into doing something as like a breath of fresh air.
I feel like for a Master Sword show, I'd want it to be Zelda. However, I'm open to maybe renaming ourselves for a different release or something like that.
I always kind of thought that too, like same members, just different name.
Yeah.
Right.
The Megas did something similar. They have always done Mega Man, but then they wanted to do a Castlevania album, so they renamed themselves the Belmonts.
Oh, that's cool.
So maybe
So
something.
Castlevania's been done.
Oh, Castlevania. Well, yeah.
Lots of people have done Castlevania.
That's one of the more popular
Well,
ones. to
people have
cover.
done Zelda like to death too, but
No, we're the only people who have ever
Ever
interpreted
covered a
Zelda
Zelda
music.
song.
Wait, I don't know what you're talking about.
Still sneaking a Zelda song.
I mean,
so-
probably. Super Mario would be cool. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of games and a lot of stuff. It's just not something that we have seriously talked about at this point.
Thanks, Bit Wars.
Yeah, but we're definitely open to the idea.
Aw.
Yeah. All right, so the next question is a question for me. It's basically, why did I start the band? Which, you know, we've answered that plenty of times before in various places, but I'll just say real quickly. I wanted to. I don't really like power metal is all about like that fantasy stuff, and Zelda's fantasy, and it seemed to be a good fit. So, yeah, I did it.
Boring answer.
I mean, yeah.
That was the most boring answer.
So, I'll link to something later. Zelda Dungeon actually did an interview with me, and I go over all that boring stuff about, you know, how the band started and all that. So, if you're really curious about the ins and outs of that, I'll link it. The next question is, how is our writing process? Like, how does that?
Painful.
And that's from Matthew Whitting on Facebook.
I mean, I don't know. It goes back and forth. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's not.
I think
We aren't really a band that writes collaboratively per se. I'm already
collaboratively.
feeling that 8%. I feel like
But
most
we
of the time somebody
definitely
brings
did
a
on
song
some
to the
songs.
table and then everybody plays with it. Usually I write the lyrics and the melody for all the songs at this point.
The vocal
But-
melodies.
Vocal melody, I'm sorry. Vocal melody. But I don't know, like everybody has an opportunity to bring something to the table. It just most of the time ends up being Matt or Kojo for the instrumentation, and me for the vocal stuff.
Yeah,
So.
and you'll bring.
And then like
vocal
Andy will
stuff to the
take it
table.
and like write his own drum parts, and then Sean will take it and play with the bass parts. So like it's collaborative, but it's not like
Yeah.
it's not a situation where we all sit around and like jam on something and then make a song like in the moment.
There's
Yeah, we
definitely
don't
like
really do that.
captains
People take
of the
stuff
song.
home
Yeah.
and add stuff
Right.
to it. Like
Homework.
on the
That's us.
final door, on the final door, like the final door, that song is pretty much all Matt. But the like most of the rest of the songs were collaborative in some fashion. Well, I guess Children of Old is mostly me, and Forgotten Stone is mostly me. But then the other 4 songs or other 3 songs were all collaborative in some way. Like Hero of Time, Enchantress, and what's the one at the beginning?
I
Bloody
don't know.
Bloody
History.
history.
Bloody History, yeah. those 3
That
were all
song that we played.
collaborative in some way. Like
Yeah, and
multiple
that's-
people, you know, helped write it.
That's a pretty big difference from like the previous 2 releases we've done, where
Mhm.
I pretty much wrote all the instrumental stuff, and then either Lily or our previous lyricist Mary would like write on top of that.
Right.
Although Corey did 2.5 songs on
One.
Shadow and Steel.
Well,
No, he
yeah.
did 2.5.
Beneath the Skin and the
yeah.
The
The
acoustic
Destined
song.
one?
yeah.
Yeah. He also wrote some of the instrumental parts for Master of the Seas.
Right. So I guess it really depends on the song. It depends on how inspired we are and how much everybody else likes it. Because ultimately, we want to make sure as a group, it's a song that everybody wants to and is capable of playing live. We want to make sure that everybody likes it enough to release it. Not that we never release a song that somebody doesn't like, but we always try to make sure that it's a group effort more than just one singular person pushing all of their stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
which can
Next
be
question.
hard.
Okay, so this next question kind of plays into that. Damian Cabrera on Instagram asks, does a song ever start to surface in practice that you wind up doing without because it doesn't make thematic sense? Are there any songs recorded but unreleased?
I mean, I feel like there are scratches that are recorded but not released, but by the time we get into the studio, that decision has been made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
So-
much.
Usually the songs we decide to work on end up being released in some form.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But there are like a handful of songs like someone brings, they kind of get like the majority of it fleshed out, and then it just never really inspires the rest of the group. So we just kind of like move on to other things. Be like, oh, we'll come back.
I mean,
Right.
a lot of the time it's how much does the person who started the song really want the rest of the band to do it? Because
Yeah,
sometimes you do have to
that's-
like force it through.
Yeah,
Right.
that.
And if
that
you're that
happens a
passionate
lot.
about it, I think everyone else kind of like is like, okay, I guess.
Should at least give it
Yeah.
a shot. You know? Yeah.
I would say 99% of the reason why some songs don't make it the entire way through is because either they start with vocals and we can't find instrumentation that fits, or vice versa.
Yeah.
The blending of those two is very challenging and can often leave songs in the let's work on this later folder for a really long
Right.
time until something.
Yeah,
really
we do have several songs that are just sort of shelved for later.
Thank you.
Working
Thank you.
together is hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It is, but I mean, part of it too is just like making sure that, like, we don't want to release garbage. So if it's
Yeah.
something where what I'm thinking of is total crap and I know it, then it's not something that I'm gonna
Right.
push to release. It's something that I'm gonna be very hesitant.
And we're
to
super
bring
critical of
it
our
to
own
you.
work too. It's like
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's
I mean, there's
very,
stuff that I've been working on that I haven't even shown you guys because I'm not happy with it yet.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm always a little bit nervous to share stuff with you guys that I worked on,
I'm
but you know,
so
you just
nervous.
gotta pull the band-aid off.
I've been in the band for years and I still get really nervous every time I record a scratch in front of anyone. I'm like, okay, don't judge me. I've never sang this outside of my head before. And they're like, we've been with you for like 4
yeah, and
years.
it's always good.
When are you
like,
gonna get used to this?
it's
And I'm like,
never
never.
bad. So.
So,
that is funny.
But generally, we don't write together, and I think that's like in like a practice sense.
right. We
Like,
work
we won't-
together outside of practice to make it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we tab everything out in Guitar Pro and send those files back and forth.
Yeah,
So
very
that's
few
usually how we
songs.
do it.
Very few songs of ours have come from like a jam at practice.
Right. Which I
Um,
think works better. Like you can be in your own headspace and really
Yeah.
think it through.
Like,
But I
the
mean,
w-
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with writing collaboratively in the moment because I've done that before and it's worked really well. It just depends on what type of sound you're going
Yeah,
for.
it depends on the people as well that you're working
Yeah.
with.
100% depends on the people.
I think the one notable exception is when you and I wrote Tower of Stone like in the middle of practice, and everyone else just
Yeah,
kind of watched
that's-
us.
that would be a song that somebody really wanted to push through and was really passionate about. So we hammered it out until we figured something that would work for both of us.
Yeah.
So, and now
Thank
he
you.
really
Thank
likes
you, Mitchie.
it. So you're welcome.
Thank you. All right, next question. This is from Kat Vadam, who actually did that interview I was talking about earlier with Zelda Dungeon with us.
Oh yeah.
She asks, if you could go back in time and see any event for yourself, what would you want to see and why? It's a little.
Dragon Con.
MagFest 2018 for me.
Well, I'm not sure if she specifically was asking like
Ones
if we
that
could watch
we were
ourselves.
at, but like,
Oh.
Oh.
because
I don't
I was
understand the
gonna
question.
say,
But I like that you all went there. Like I would definitely look
That's
at
what I
myself.
thought.
Q&A about us. Sorry. You mean like in any concert anywhere?
I mean, she doesn't specify, but it could be any event in history.
Hmm.
Well,
I
if
would
it's-
say one
Yeah, go
of
ahead.
Freddie
There's
Mercury's
a bit of an overpour
big
there.
theater, like amphitheater shows, because
Still
he was so
ourselves.
amazing. Was so amazing. I mean, is so amazing. He's dead, but he's still awesome. So whatever.
For me,
I'll-
I would if it's musical, I would go back to 1989 and watch Metallica on their "Injustice for All" tour, like in Seattle. Like I've seen YouTube videos of it, but I wasn't born yet, so I couldn't have possibly gone.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Metallica with Cliff Burton. That would have been.
Yeah, I mean this was post Cliff Burton, but still, yeah, that too
Well-
would be cool.
I'm the bass player, so.
Yeah,
Yeah. I still haven't seen Metallica live. That's one of those.
I
bands
me
haven't
that-
neither.
Like their tickets are very expensive.
Yeah, understandably.
I just don't want to see him now.
I hear they're still. Well, this was a few years
Eh.
ago. They were pretty good. I don't know about
Next
now.
question.
Okay. Next question is from our own Devin Hoy. He
Oh.
asked, if you could be best friends with any one Zelda character, who would it be, and why is it Tingle?
Oh no. It would
Well, he-
not be Tingle because he is a pedophile. But
Whoa, I feel like that's
Whoa.
harsh.
Whoa.
Those are
He's
some unfounded
creepy.
claims.
all right, he's
man.
like a creepy man who walks around with balloons, talking to kids in his underwear. I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan.
His underwear is on the
um,
outside of his clothes.
Yeah,
so-
that's
Doesn't
totally
matter.
different.
He's not Doug Funny. It does not work for him.
That's right. Chalice. Oh, the Chalice? Chalice.
I would say Midna because she's a badass.
Pretty good choice. She seems fun. Man, I don't know. I've had these questions, so you think I would have thought about it, but I have not.
Shocked.
I've had a lot of other stuff in my mind. Thank you very much.
What did you say in that first stream that you did? That being ill prepared was kind of your thing.
It is kind of my thing.
I'd probably go with any one of the Gorons.
The
They
Gorons
seem
are
like chill
awesome.
people.
It's a good choice.
Chill
What would you talk
Gorons.
about, though?
Anything.
Rocks? I
They're
don't know.
super chill.
I mean, that's pretty much all they talk about, like how
You
much they
wanna
like eating
rock?
rocks. They would offer you rocks to eat, and then you'd be
Yeah, but then
rude
you
if
could
you
like
didn't eat them.
roll down a hill together.
Yeah.
But what if he was also a Goron? Then it would be fine.
Next question. Okay, Tim Surball asks, a question for each band member. What is your favorite song to play live?
Forgotten in Stone, probably. But also Hero of Time and Forsaken Tribe.
Okay.
I really enjoy The Mountain.
Yeah, I'd say The
Because-
Mountain, too.
It's not the most complicated song, so like it allows, and it's usually the enders, so it allows me the opportunity to kind of get down into the crowd. And although with that in mind, being able to play the final door is also fun because of that interlude, which allows me to kind of get down in the crowd. And I've had times where like pits have just formed, and I've been able to participate while they go on. So
Wait, do you mean
that's-
Hero of Time?
oh yeah, Hero Time.
Here,
Yeah.
Yeah. The Final Door is not one I would list. It's a great song, but it's very hard for rhythm guitar, so I'm like hyper focused when I play that. For me, it would probably be
That's probably my favorite to play live.
Really?
the Final
Your
Four.
drum parts for that are sick.
oh yeah.
Mine used to be Let Me Show You the Night because it gets me really pumped, but now that we have a Bloody History in the set, I think that one's my favorite to play
You
live.
like playing the
because
drums.
I
Fun
like
fact,
playing the
Lily
drums, and I'm
hated that
basically
song
just like
originally.
Yeah, she hated that song
yelling into
initially.
the microphone while I smack the shit out of these drums, and it's
That
really
song
fun.
caused so many
Like
problems.
it takes all of my energy. Like I gave myself a blister in Chicago.
If I
like,
could
I'm
go
getting
back to
into
any
it.
past
I
event, I'd
love
go
it.
back to when we were writing these songs and show Lily her saying that now.
I had the recording.
Yeah. A Bloody History was definitely like pulling teeth.
It was
Yeah.
a bloody
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah.
It was
Even
so
the
hard.
name, she hated the name of Bloody History.
We fought about that for like weeks.
It was
Oh,
a bad
yeah.
fight too. It was
Yeah.
It was
It got
such a bad
nasty.
fight. That was the day, like the second day of recording. So I just sat there for 8 hours being pissed off at Matt in a corner.
Yeah, it was
was
really
awful.
awkward.
Welcome to the band, Koji.
Yeah.
Yep, that's your rite of passage. Being in a room for 8 hours with Lily and Matt being mad at each other. It's the rite of passage because it happens all the time.
That
Stare at your
certainly
drums.
does.
Let Me Show You the Night is also very fun.
Yeah, it's a fun song.
It's just so high energy and like, yeah. I feel the most like Freddie Mercury just in crowd captivity, I guess, whenever I sing Let Me Show You the Night. Because it's very like, I don't know, it's very Freddie or Bruce Dickinson. Like I can wave my hands around and feel okay about it. So,
And let's not forget Master of the Seas, which I know was taken off the list for a long time, but we gotta bring that back.
That one
I've
was
never
fun.
even had to
Like,
learn
I
that
liked it.
song yet.
So
oh, you will. Someday you will.
we'll get back to this later because there's another question further down where it's our least favorite. So we'll touch that later.
Okay.
Well, let's on the next one then.
I'll touch that one later. Okay, the next question is: are there any plans to make a song akin to an epic, like "Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner" from Iron Maiden? That's
I
from
love
Troop
that
Soar
song.
on Discord.
So,
something
like a
probably
long
over
one?
10 minutes.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it eventually happened because I feel like Kojo's songs just keep getting longer and longer.
Hey, mine too. If you recall, I just
Yeah.
presented a song to you guys that's like 11
Yeah,
minutes
there's
long.
there's definitely not an
Oh my
11 and
God,
a half minute
seriously,
long
11
song
minutes?
in the drive.
It could be a
I wasn't
medley.
paying attention.
I know I haven't seen it, so
Okay.
Oh,
I
I've
missed
talked
that
about
one.
it. I've talked about it a few times. I'm not
doesn't
going to
pay
say
attention.
You know what's
Or
funny
working
is I try to keep my songs as short as I can. Make sure there's nothing unnecessary.
You're doing
in
a
it.
great job.
And they're always like
They end
7
up so
fucking
long.
minutes anyway.
I can't
So what
help
were they
it.
before? Like 13? Jesus.
Yep. That's Kojo.
Like the recent demo I showed you guys, I actually cut out an entire riff.
Oh god. Yeah.
I feel like half of my job is making sure that these people don't like make a 15-minute long song because
The longest song I've
I would
ever
be so
written is I think about 13 minutes and 40 something seconds. It was not in this band; it was just like a demo I wrote in college. But yeah, I think that's the longest song I've ever written. So it'll probably happen at some point. And
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
Matt's
Yeah.
already written.
Honestly, if it
11-minute
happens
song.
in any album, I could see it happening on the next full-length album that we do, and I feel like it would be
Yeah.
fine.
Well, that's the song that. Yeah. It's for that album.
Nope.
I apologize in advance if I also make a 10+ minute song. For
I mean,
that.
it's whatever. So
Well, no, it's gonna happen. Like it's a very Anyway, it's
We've
gonna
been
happen.
pushing-
Prague gotta do what Prague gotta do.
we've been pushing 10 minutes for a while. Like some of our songs
Yeah.
have gotten pretty close.
It's time for a second beer.
Speaking of, talk amongst yourselves. I got to run to the bathroom and get another beer.
Okay,
Woohoo.
from the bathroom.
Gross.
We just hear
Um,
water pouring.
I mean, I think Andy and Matt are Steven Wilson fans, right?
Yeah. I'm more of a Porcupine Tree fan, but his solo works pretty good.
I think they just mean Steven Wilson in general. So yeah.
Oh, did someone ask in chat?
Yeah, Mickey Mouse said.
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
would love Steven Wilson.
Yeah.
True story, bit
Gross,
wars.
bit worse. It's gross.
That
Toilet
man is a
beers.
visionary, or lady. I don't know who. That person is a visionary.
Bit Wars?
Yeah.
That's a man.
All right.
Are you sure? Do you know who that is?
Visionary.
Yeah.
Okay. There's been a few people who've come to the chat, and I'm not really sure their gender.
We're not going to assume genders here unless we know. So,
Yeah.
apologies in advance if we don't know who you are.
I'm not even sure if they're real people, to be honest.
Michelle,
We're-
is that
we're
because
imagining
of the,
all
the
of
them.
toilet beer situation.
They're just all bots.
Really,
the-
it's the Zelda.
Lily, the song I'm talking about is the Cold song.
Oh, I've heard that before. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was so long. So that's a
That's-
good thing. If I can't tell that it's that long, then
It doesn't
it's
feel
not
11
like
minutes
an
long.
inappropriate
There's a lot of
length.
different parts to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, if a song
That's
can be
true.
that long,
If
and
we
not-
went like improv
boring.
with those, then yes. Sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
No, it's just that's the end of my thought. Like, that's like a song can be that long, but it has to not feel boring.
Right.
But, like,
Right.
for me, like one of my favorite songs that's like 13 minutes long is Dante's Inferno by Iced Earth, and it's because it's so masterfully done that you don't get tired of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, there's no point in doing a long song just to do it. You should definitely, like, if it happens to get that long and it sounds like it deserves to be that long, yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't be like
how long
Django
is,
Unchained, where we felt like it ended and then it went on for another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you want.
How long is Forgotten in Stone? Is that 8 minutes?
I think it's 8
8 or
minutes
9.
around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That one doesn't feel long either to me.
I'm sure it feels long for Andy.
I'm sure. He's like, all right, I'm ready to die now.
Or any Symphony X long songs. Yeah. Symphony X.
Yeah, I like the Odyssey by Symphony X.
Yeah.
I know
It's a good
Andy
one.
probably likes that too.
I mean,
once
I
he
would
gets the
think with the
earphones
name
in.
The Odyssey, it would be long.
You like the Odyssey by Symphony X, Andy?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, and we're just talking about long songs, and yeah, that's a great one.
My favorite long song is Supper's Ready by Genesis. Like, far and away. It's a masterful song.
Of course, it's a Genesis song.
Listen
Shocked
to
and
it, like-
surprised
It's a good
to
song.
know
Matt
it
showed
would.
me that. It's good.
It's crazy good.
I'm not a fan of long songs. Most of the songs that I like, I can work out to and be okay with that. So,
But if it's longer, then you get more bang for your buck.
I mean, I'm sure I do, but I'm just saying that the pieces I like are like in your face power metal. It's like 3 or 4 minutes, sometimes like 5 or 6. But that's a long power metal song for the people that
And
listen.
repetitive.
Except for Halloween. Halloween has some really long. What?
He said and repetitive.
All right, next question.
That was for Andy exclusively.
This is a silly one from The Real Monster D. What would you do if you could have a pet chain chomp for a day?
I'd bring it to work.
I'd stick
it
it
on
in
your
Matt's
customers?
apartment.
Oh, hell yeah. There's so many Karens, I would unleash that beast on.
I'd play frisbee with it, like a normal person.
Aww,
Aw.
that'd be so cute. That's so
It'd be a
wholesome,
very
Coco.
short game of frisbee. Ah, romp, romp, romp.
Right?
Womp, womp.
Well, he's got a whole bucket of frisbees. He's
There
prepared.
you go.
I'd keep it
thanks for
chained up
following,
in the
you belts.
backyard.
Like a guard.
This
like
is
a
my
guard
kill
dog.
chomp.
That's not
Did
all
you
Andy
meet my
has
pet
chained up in his
Pilchon?
backyard.
Oh,
Ooh,
Shut up, Kojo.
weird.
stop spilling our secrets.
Okay, this is the question we get from everyone everywhere,
Uh-oh.
and it's not really applicable much anymore because of the quarantine. But
What's your favorite Zelda game?
they're,
Zelda?
they're asking
I mean,
when
that's
are we
another one that we get all the...
when are we going to come to me?
Oh yeah, everybody asking when are you coming to X place?
When we
or what-
can.
what-
Yeah.
Yeah, well, probably next
allowed.
year, to be honest.
Well, don't promise.
Yeah, no problems. I mean, we don't know exactly where we'll be
And
going
also,
next
we
year, but
also
yeah.
track our Spotify plays and our online
Yeah.
plays. We get that data, so in cities that we get played a lot, we try to get there. So
Right.
Smooth.
if
That's
you're in
really
a
true.
particular city, you need to, listen to us and
Listen,
share with your
share, yeah,
friends.
tell your friends.
Basically, when we can afford to.
That's the answer.
That's very important too. We do not have lots of
Logistics.
money.
Right.
That's why you should subscribe to our Twitch channel.
Oh my god.
Yes.
For $5.99.
Our Twitch channel.
I would love to go to Germany, Steelcrawler.
Me too.
That's like one of
Yeah.
my. I've been to Germany before, like just to visit. It's the most amazing place.
Yeah.
I love it.
Europe is on the dream list in terms of places to go and play, but generally when we get invited to like a larger con, we'll do everything that we can to try to plan a tour around it.
That's the key right there.
But,
you can get a con to invite us
it's all-
somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
it's
you, the
all
real
about
Thanks
monster
for the
day, for the
bits.
cheer.
Like we'll go where you want us to if we can.
Cheers.
So like Sean said, make sure you're telling your friends about us because we do look at Spotify plays when we're planning cities to visit. So
Yeah.
it's important.
Okay.
I'm from New York City, so I would love to play.
Yeah.
New York City
We've been
with you
meaning to
guys.
get up to New York. I mean, that's
Ah,
an
the band
obvious
has never
I
played
location.
in
feel
New
like
York?
that was next on the list of places to figure out how to get there, but then,
Yeah.
coronavirus decided to fuck everything over.
Right,
So,
right. New York's not even that far. I mean, that's pretty
nope.
easy.
Yeah, it's like a 5-hour drive.
hmm It's closer for me, I
Yeah.
think.
Probably
That's like-
6-hour drive because of traffic.
Whatever.
but,
Yeah.
Kojo.
Kojo.
Well, with
I know
traffic,
everything about you.
depends if you have your
I mean, if we leave at 5 a.m., yeah, it's a 5-hour drive.
yeah, and if the toll rolls, if you have your easy pass and Kojo is the youngest member of the band, but definitely the oldest spirit of us.
Very true.
I had to mature fast.
I don't want to know. I'm
Next
not
question.
Let's not get into that.
Next question.
All right, next question's from Kat Vadam again. She asks, if you get $1 million, but every time you perform on stage, there's a 1 in 10 chance you will forget one of your songs, would you take it?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. There's a 1 in 10 chance that's gonna happen anyway. So
Yeah, I mean,
We are
I'd take it,
experts
but
at making shit up.
I would
But
also.
one time.
I don't know if I continue doing live shows because that would be horrifying. Like, that's pretty
What?
often.
So like the
Yeah,
whole song, or like you forget
That's-
your part and then you jump back in.
No,
like,
that's the whole
Listen.
song.
Yeah, you're just
You're
sitting
just
there
like,
like, I don't know how to...
Just make it up.
And
Yeah,
1 in
just-
10, 1 in 10 is like one song per set.
I feel like
Yeah.
Kojo and I could survive because we have a background in jazz, so we'd be like, we're just gonna make this shit up as we go
Yeah.
along. It's fine. This is
Improv.
improv hour now.
Toad, yeah, for $1 million, hell yeah.
Funny
Yeah, I mean-
story. In the
I would
first
take the
ever
million,
band
but
that
I would
was
probably
in,
retire from live shows.
which was a cover
Yeah,
band.
just do
I
pre-recorded
forgot all the
shows
words
of
to a
the
Pat
good
Benatar
takes.
song.
Yeah, I just
pre-recorded
do studio
performances.
recordings.
Yeah.
Good question, though. It's really creative.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on to the question, what is the most difficult song for each of you to perform? Then that's by Mitchie Mouse,
Isle of the Sky Spirits.
Ditto.
which
That's
is really
like
easy
the
on guitar.
easiest
I
song for
hate
guitar.
performing that song live. I'm sorry. I hate performing that song live.
I mean, the solo is a little bit tricky, but that's the first one I learned, so I just have it down, so I don't really have to think about that. But the rest of the song is so easy.
That one.
It's like 2 power chords.
Well, like most of the song is easy for me, but then when we get to like the screamier part, that part. So when we get to that part, it's like sitting right on the break in my range for one of the spots where like I'm trying to do like a heavy power voice, but it starts to creep into my like girly lady.
That's one of those songs that when you're listening to like the studio recording and you hear Lily sing, you're like, holy shit, what?
Yeah,
she's doing
so
that.
sometimes I hit it and sometimes I don't, and
Probably-
it's like
probably
throwing dice, and I don't like that.
Probably a good song to play in E flat standard, like a half step down.
Yeah, we should.
But
I mean, I love that
so
song.
weird to have step down. Like
you get used
it doesn't
to it.
work.
You get used to
We
it.
tried so hard, but it does not work. So,
How about you
either
other
we
guys?
gamble with it, or I'm just like, not today. Let's not do
I
it
have a
today.
few, and for me, like, I don't play keyboards as much live these days. This is part of the reason why. There's a few songs, especially on like Shadow and Steel, that are just really tough for keyboards, and that includes Master of the Seas. So I basically forced them to stop playing that song.
Yeah, we had a fight about that too.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a
But
good
if-
fight.
That was a good
But if you can force us to stop playing Isle, I feel like and Tower of Stone, which is another song you don't like to play live, Lily.
I mean, that one, Tower of
We
Stone's
bring
not
that
as
one
bad.
back.
I'm just not a fan of the song.
That
one
song's a
sits in
little
the
bit
middle of my
tricky
lower
for me
range.
to play, actually. Tower of Stone.
It's just not a super interesting song to play live, in my opinion. But whatever.
I disagree. And that's one of those songs that
We
should be really,
disagree a lot.
really hard for me on keyboards, but I do enjoy playing that solo quite a bit, actually. And the other song that's really tough for me is, well, from the new album, it's probably either Enchantress or The Final Door. Those two are pretty tough.
Yeah,
That's so funny
Enchantress
because
is the
Enchantress
hardest song.
sounds so chill, but all of you are like, "This is so hard."
It requires like a dozen like changes.
So yeah, for example, Lily, like
Sorry, guys.
So no, it's all right. It's a cool song, but it is the hardest to play. So here's why: the riff requires you to slide from like down at like the first fret down, up to like, the
that
8th
riff too.
fret,
Mm.
skip
Yeah.
strings, and then when we hit the verse, you got to switch to a clean channel. So you have to step on something. Then you have to switch your pickup selector on your guitar. And then play the clean stuff. Then switch back to the other pickup. Step back
That's
on the distorted
crazy.
channel, and then I have to go to like a clean lead channel, and then a
You know
distorted lead channel, and then back to the distorted
You
rhythm
wrote
channel.
these parts for yourself.
Ah.
Sounds like you
True.
need to
No,
get an Axe Effects and program all the guitar stuff into there.
Yeah, like if we can have it
Yeah.
auto switch, that song would be way easier.
Yeah.
That's,
can
do
that's
that.
really the main.
I'm
We
sure
can
it'll
do
happen at
that.
some point. But that
Yeah.
song, what's funny is like
We're
anytime when I
fighting,
talk
like,
to about the
on
new
this-
album is like, oh, that must have been so hard for
You
you.
knew this
Like-
would happen.
Yeah.
Because
What the
Enchantress is,
people
like,
want.
the easiest for me.
funnily enough,
Like
that
I
is
told you we could do this.
Because Enchantress is my favorite solo by me on the new
It's a
album.
great
but,
song.
It's a beautiful
It's
solo too.
yeah, thanks. It's just it's just difficult because of all the gymnastics you have to do while playing it. But if I didn't have to do all those gymnastics, I would love to play that.
Yeah,
live
learning
somewhere.
that riff was definitely one of the tougher things to learn. Although I got it down eventually.
I think the toughest for me is Bloody History.
Really?
That's actually surprising to me.
Me too. For some reason, like the drum parts themselves, I don't think are terribly difficult. There's such slight variations in each section that are hard to just remember and nail. What's easy for me is like High Roll Field.
That's another one I should have mentioned because that one's fucking hard. That's
I was gonna mention that earlier.
for me, like especially when I was playing keyboards and guitar at the same
Yeah,
time, that was just
so
nuts.
hard.
It was
That
nuts.
song is so hard.
When you
It's
guys
so easy for
told me
Lily,
to
though.
learn that song,
I just stand there. I'm like,
Yeah.
fun.
that song is so difficult.
Yeah, that's
Something about-
by far the hardest song.
It's just something about how everything it grooves, but also that there's such intricate parts that I practice it enough and like I could just nail it. I don't know.
It's definitely
I mean-
the most Metropolis song.
I think
we
really
have.
Andy's just better
Well,
than the rest of you, is what he's
so-
saying.
Well,
I mean, Andy's pretty good, so.
Kojo, when
Yeah.
I was arranging that song, I was listening to Overture from It seems from memory.
I can feel it, you know. I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
definitely feel that.
Feel the force, Luke.
All right.
Feel the force.
Feel it inside you.
Oh God.
Okay, on to the next question.
Quickly.
This is what happens when you get us in a room together. It's not good. It's not good.
There's
Especially
been
with
some
alcohol.
drinking.
I'm almost out of my bottle. Hold on.
Oh no.
Better get
I
it
thought
off.
that wasn't all today.
I'm surprised you don't have martinis today. Could have just had like
too much
5
work.
lined up. That is
So
work.
answering questions.
All right, next
With your
song.
shake weight.
Yeah. No, that's the.
That's the other hand.
No, it's the martini shaker.
Yes, I
you
know. It was a joke.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Next song.
I mean, next question.
Next question.
Oh yeah. Thanks for being here, Kojo, and correcting me.
Yeah.
It's escalating so quickly. And
I thought it was practice for a second there. That's my usual.
Oh my God.
Next song, guys. That's all right.
Next song.
It's from Julian Kearns from Facebook. If you had to live in a particular age of Hyrule, or any other land in that world, essentially any Zelda game, what would you choose?
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, Wind Waker would be
I
pretty
love
cool.
the water. I love the ocean. I love swimming. I love being on boats. Water, blue is my favorite color. Wind Waker.
Kojo, we need to go on a cruise together.
Absolutely.
I would want to be in the Twilight Realm
Maybe
because
not
it looks
anytime
like fun
soon.
and it's dark and creepy.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Twilight
Like-
Realm.
Really?
It's dark and creepy, and I
she's
like dark
edgy.
and creepy.
You
Edgy.
get tired of that real quick.
You think so, but Minna's there. She's my babe.
She's pretty hot.
She's pretty hot.
We're gonna see some Lily Midna fan art after this.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Listen.
Whoa.
Midna-
Whoa.
Midna is what she does right here. She's gonna
Yeah.
be like grabbing his face with her hair hand, and it's
This
gonna
is
look
where
awesome.
Midna would be if I had a tattoo of her.
Exactly. Well, I was going to get one, but then quarantine happened, so
Are you
I
gonna get it
chill
on top
and,
of Skullkid?
Skyloft would be the worst.
oh, that would be the worst.
Oh hell no! I would chill at
I don't
Lon
like
Lon
heights.
Ranch.
I would just fall off of the clouds.
Ranch.
Wait, what'd you say, Andy?
I would chill at Lon Lon Ranch.
Okay.
It does seem very serene.
Mhm.
Drink some milk and just hang out there.
It's not really milk, dude.
Kojo. All
It's
right.
liquor.
Oh.
It's liquor. That's what I meant. All right. Let's not get weird with it.
Whatever. I've been on tour with you.
Yeah, you're the first one to get weird.
Yeah.
I feel like that's Shaw.
No.
No,
you're
no,
not
no, no.
liquor.
I'm weird. You're weirder.
It's been weird for a while.
Man, I don't know. Probably Wind Waker. Seems pretty nice.
Nice save, Kojo.
Okay, which Zelda soundtrack would you consider to be the most memorable? From Daniel Marshall.
Oh, that's a hard
Ocarina
one.
of
Ocarina.
Time?
Ocarina.
Yeah, Ocarina. Hands down. You have, the Gerudo Desert, Temple Time.
Just across the board, it's
Yeah.
everything is so memorable.
Majora.
I would say Ocarina of Time.
Majora,
It's
too.
also in your face. Just like as soon as you enter a new area, it's like, bam, this theme, bam, this
But
theme.
a lot of yeah,
But also
a lot
Link
of
to the
songs from
Past.
yeah, like
Link to the
those
Past,
three
too.
games, and Wind Waker too actually has a really good
Yeah.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Hey, Battle Coder.
Coder, how's it going? This is the
What?
whole rest of the stream. It's just
Yeah. Kojo. Mouth harmonica.
What's the
That Wind
least
Waker intro
memorable?
is so good.
The least memorable, I forgot.
Breath of the Wild.
exactly because you can't remember.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is probably
I
the
mean,
least
that-
memorable.
The
Yeah, Breath of the
The
Wild.
trailer
song.
theme was so good, which is why I made a
Was
song
good.
out of it.
But that's not in the game at all.
Yeah, it doesn't
Right.
play during the game.
I was so
Hey,
dis-
Shagrana.
yeah, I don't want to talk about all my disappointments with Breath of the Wild. right now.
Outside of that,
It's pretty,
the
but-
main theme of Breath of the Wild is great. The dee doo 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 doo.
Yeah.
That was good.
I feel like Breath of the Wild was like the least Zelda-like game. It was a good game, but it was
True.
like
Mhm.
I
Agree.
think I think it was very
I'm
Zelda
excited
1.
for the sequel because I
Yeah,
feel like
it
they're
was
was
gonna do
definitely
more
like
with
they looked at
story,
Zelda 1
hopefully.
and tried to recreate that feel, which I
Yeah.
appreciate. And I actually love the sound design in that game.
Yeah, it's
Oh, the
good.
sound design is incredible.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
like
it's just like the songs aren't memorable. Like it's all ambient
Yeah,
music.
it's
Which
meant
is what
to
the
be
game
part
needed.
of the world rather than just like a song playing.
It could easily be any
Zelda
any
music,
game. Like,
Shigrana.
you could replace it
Yeah.
with like a different name and like change a couple of things, and it would be a completely different game. Like the I think it focused so much on gameplay that, and like less about. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing at
This is
Lily.
what I wrote in the chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
She doesn't even know what we're talking about.
She zoned out a while ago.
Continue, Andy. Continue.
Yes,
Yes,
please
carry on,
continue.
please.
People want to
Sorry
know.
to distract you.
I don't know. I guess I felt like it could be any game. It didn't have to necessarily be a Zelda game.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
agree.
story was hardly there.
Mhm.
The story
Yeah.
was the big
I'm
disappointment for me.
That was
Totally
my
cool
biggest
with-
complaint. Like, it's beautiful, but there's no story. Well, I mean, there's story, but it's so small compared to how
Yeah.
huge the game is.
And you
that
have
it
to like
seems
you have to
there's no
hunt the story. If you want a story, you have to hunt it down.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't. I
like
don't
that.
like that you have to find those memories. Like, or at least that should be like a mandatory thing. I don't know. There's something weird about the way they did that to me.
Yeah. I agree.
But I'm fine with not being bogged down in tons of cutscenes and people talking. Because honestly, I don't.
Well, yeah, but you don't need that to tell a good story either.
But I put 500 hours into that game. So like, although
That's
like
insane.
I would say like Ocarina of Time is probably my favorite. Like I put way more hours.
By the
into-
way, Matt, you still have my copy, so I want that back eventually.
Copy of what? Oh, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Like
I
back
know.
when we went to Georgia.
I know. I have it.
It's like
You
2
weren't
years
asking
ago.
for it, so I didn't think you
2
wanted to
years
play
ago. Yeah, I haven't had it.
it. Well, I thought if you
Alright,
wanted
so-
to play it, you would have asked.
Next
It's not like
question.
I stole it.
Next
I
question.
put like 80 hours into Breath of the Wild, but I loved it.
I originally got it for Wii U. That's why I didn't have it on Switch. All right. So this is from Jonathan O'Neill / The Arcadian.
Ooh.
Since this happy hour is taking place on the 10th anniversary of Ronnie James Dio's passing, what is your favorite Dio album / song?
I'm going to answer this first because the first concert I've ever seen was Motorhead, Dio, and Iron Maiden. And
that's a good one.
I had never heard a Dio before, and seeing him play Holy Diver like this, and I'm not a tall statured gentleman, so seeing like this tiny little man be so awesome on stage was like great for me.
Hmm.
And I remember Holy Diver because I loved that song.
Yeah, Holy Diver is great.
Yeah.
Even before I've ever heard any of his stuff. That was the first time I ever heard Dio was live.
That's
So
cool.
I'm gonna answer next. My favorite Dio album is actually the album that Dio did with Black Sabbath, which would be Heaven and Hell. I felt like,
Yeah.
oh, like the whole, I just love it. Like, I love everything about it. Dio has an amazing voice. I wish his songs collectively were more interesting for me personally, but his voice is killer. So I just think his lyrics are always a little bit cheesy. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like
you know
Motorhead
what
you're
is
getting with
cheesy,
Dio.
but
Yeah, it's like the 70s and
Dios are
80s,
cheesy in
so-
a way that you're like, but he's amazing, so I'm gonna give him a pass.
Okay, I'll go next. So I'm like the world's biggest Rainbow fan, at least like the Dio era. That's like where my heart really lies. So like, Rising is like one of the best albums of all time for me. It's insane. Like Richie Blackmore, Cozy Powell, Dio, all together. That's just nuts.
That's awesome.
And favorite song is "Kill the King" though, which is on the album after that, "Long Live Rock and Roll."
It's a great song.
It's
I like Kill
Oh,
the King
Rainbow
a
in the
lot
Dark.
as well.
Good.
for
Sorry.
me, it's like the perfect metal song. It just hits everything I want.
Yeah, Kill the King is great, and so is what's Terror Woman on Rainbow Rising?
Yeah, that's Rising.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I don't listen to a ton of Dio normally, but like I do like those two albums a lot.
Yeah, and like Stargazer, Light in the Black, Gates of Babylon. I could go on like just the most.
He
Rainbow
could go
songs.
And he will.
Yes.
To end on a low note, I don't care much for Dio. I know one song. I know.
I'm not surprised at all.
I only know
Lyrics.
Holy Diver, and I like Killswitch Engage's version.
Yeah, Killswitch Engage's version is awesome.
Yeah. Kill
Uh,
Switch.
But
You
I
place
honestly
Elf
don't
above all those Steel Crawlers? Sorry for interrupting,
Right?
Andy.
know. You're cool.
Why is Sabbath above Dio? I have questions.
Oh, Well, Black Sabbath
I
did
mean,
Heaven and
Sabbath
Hell,
is-
so
I know. Yeah. That's fair. I've just never liked Black Sabbath like in their original lineup.
With
I'm
Ozzy.
so bored
Ozzy,
by
yeah.
Ozzy. Like,
So,
I mean, that's
they had
not
a singer
true.
who couldn't
Classic
sing, and they
Ozzy,
had
the
a singer
songs
who
that you
could
don't
sing.
hear on the radio are awesome, but the only songs that they play on the radio are tired and stupid. So, but that's just my feelings on it. So,
Oh, everyone just logged off.
yep, you'll get more of my feelings as I drink more. So, good luck with that.
Okay. Do we want to
Are
talk
you
about
doing
Dio
okay,
some more? Or are
Lily?
we ready to move on?
I think we're
Move
ready.
on. Let's move on.
Yeah, I don't want people to leave.
People love Dio though, and
Andy
R.I.P. by
doesn't,
the way.
so.
Well, who cares?
Andy's very selective about his vocalists. I'm just glad that I made the cut.
Yeah,
doesn't like my lyrics,
The
but-
decision came down to Andy at the end, and he decided you get a
Andy's
pass.
face is like,
Even
Yeah.
though Lily joined before him.
Yeah. Even though, yeah.
I just don't like too much vibrato.
Just a note.
I'd say that. I mean, that's a personal preference thing, and I do get annoyed by some people's vibratos,
Right.
so I feel you on that.
Lily, we're gonna have a psychic moment right now.
Yes, we are.
All right, let's move on.
Yes, please. Hurry fast. Move on.
Okay, this is a fun one. So if we could
Yeah.
play or tour with another video game band, what would it be? That's from Andreas Ginrich from Facebook.
Proto Men.
Yeah. Double. They're so cool,
I'm
guys.
sorry. They're so cool. I had like a huge fangirl moment when I got to meet like a ton of the
Yeah,
members because
it
we
was
had a booth
gross.
so close to them.
It was so gross.
And like I tried as hard as I could to like keep my cool, but as soon as I turned around to talk to Matt, I was like, oh my god. So yeah,
yeah.
I was I fangirled real hard.
And I was
But
like,
I got
who
to
are
meet
they?
so many of
'Cause-
them. I got to meet so many awesome people, and I got like a bunch of signatures on my albums. So that would be sweet and
I'd go with
amazing.
Metroid Metal.
Oh yeah, Metroid Metal. I don't know if Stimmage is still in the chat, but
Yeah,
regardless
Stimmage,
if he's
let's
there
make
or
it
not,
happen.
that would. I mean, they were the ones who really started me on the whole video game music cover
I
train.
remember you talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's a ton of amazing BGM bands that I would love to tour with. Like, I tour with Power Glove. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I
And
can't remember the
Cohen.
name of the band because it was really silly. But the one at VGM Con, the
The Lonely
one
Rolling
that
Stars.
closed.
Oh, that was so awesome.
Amazing.
That was such a great.
They
Yeah, we
were
should-
so badass. They
that'd be
played in
awesome.
pajamas. If I had known that was the dress code, I would not have put so much effort into my appearance.
And do a
Yeah, you
barrel
would've.
roll really impressed me.
Yeah.
Dude,
And the
oh,
But
Arcadian.
man, they were amazing.
The Arcadian.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna.
Not
tour
bad.
with
BGM
Arcadian
Con
at
was
some
was
point.
quite
That's
good,
gonna
actually.
happen.
What about that burlesque show?
Oh
Ooh.
my god, that
I
was
enjoyed
so
that a lot.
awesome.
That was
I-
so incredible.
It's Mario Brothers themed for anybody wondering.
That was insane. I've never like we've been to a few cons at this point, and that's the first time I've ever seen a burlesque show at a con, and it was the best thing that I've ever seen. Like, it
Yeah,
was
that needs to
so
be
fun.
on every con.
Godfather Mario. Yeah.
Yeah. Rub it in, guys.
It was like Mario Brothers meet like Mafia, Godfather meets boobs, and it was great. It was all of the things you could ever want.
Sounds fun.
Fair. Let's
And
talk about that
Neil.
trip some more.
Yeah.
Sean seems to be
Yeah.
enjoying himself. All right, we'll do the next question.
Oh, sad face.
And we
Um,
would love to come back to VGM Con.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, in chat.
So this question plays off
What's
the
wrong?
previous question, and that's what who would we like to collaborate with? And that's from Painted Dreams on Discord.
Honestly, I'm collaborating with a lot of people right now already. But if we collectively could bring someone in to do cool stuff on a song, right off the top of my head, I would say 88-bit, the Arcadian, and the Proto Men,
Mhm.
personally.
I would like to do something with Family Jewels because I really like his style
Yeah.
of play, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he.
Yeah, we met him at MagFest.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
and Jojo.
Matt and I.
Yeah, and
We asked him. He was like,
No, you
"I'm
did.
kind of busy."
Yeah,
He just kind of gave us a blank stare.
I'm like, I don't know. You guys are pretty weird.
Like, yeah, I think I've heard of you guys.
Aw.
We did well.
Wah.
Toxic Eternity was there too, and he
Yeah, yeah.
Awkward
actually heard
turtle.
of us and seemed like he was a fan.
Yeah, Toxic Eternity is actually something I was going to name drop, but he's streaming on Twitch. Actually, I saw him yesterday. Streaming on
Yeah,
Twitch.
I saw that too.
He's killing it. He's playing really well. He's a great guitarist.
At some point, I think we would also like to collaborate with Triforce Quartet. It's
That
just a
would be
matter
cool.
of schedules.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
we've got 5 people and they've got like 4 or 5.
Mm.
So
Well, it's a quartet.
someday, I'm 4. Sorry. Listen, I've
There's
had
like
a
6
couple
or 7,
beaters.
right?
Woo. But thank you. Math is hard.
Don't do math, kids.
I mean, really,
I try my
we
best.
just like playing with other bands. We like touring with other bands. Like, we love to bring different musicians in to give it a different flavor. I know.
Oh yeah, don't we want
I'm currently
to?
in talks with a couple different vocalists to come in and do songs with Master Sword. So, we're really excited to branch out a little bit and bring some people in to have fun.
We've worked with people before. I mean, like on the last time we had Daniel Tidwell
Yeah.
play a guitar solo, which was
Yeah.
amazing.
Dan's awesome.
I think it would be cool to get like guest solo on a song. The only issue is that I'd probably have to learn it.
I think you'll be fine.
It's just kind of a pain, but yeah, I can do it.
Oh, Kojo.
All right, next question. Okay, this is the music nerd question from Iron Star on Discord. He asks, "What instruments, amps, effects, equipment, software, etc. do you guys like to use and why?" I'll let Kojo start.
Okay, I'm a big fan of Strandberg guitars. They're super light. They're headless, fan frets, so they're like slanted. Super comfortable for my hands. My hands are kind of small, so they're super
I
good
noticed.
for me.
Oh, we lost Lily.
Whoa.
Sorry,
Oh, no.
my video's weird. There we go.
Okay,
Oh.
she's
Hey.
back. But now
I don't
everything's
like-
been rearranged, and
Yeah.
that triggers
Well,
me.
sorry.
You ruined
I
it.
was just
Calling it
very
off, it's over,
busy,
guys.
so I figured I'd fix it while someone
No,
else
it's-
was talking.
It's
so
fine.
they
I'm in the
still
middle.
know.
All right. So anyway, like I was saying, I really like Strandberg guitars. So for Master Sword, I use a 7-string Strandberg with a tremolo bar, and that lets me cover everything we've done so far. I've been using a Boss Katana amp live, and it's great. I'm thinking of using a Line 6 Helix live, which is also what Matt uses.
Yeah.
And
And Sean.
and Sean uses a rack-mounted version, whereas Matt and I have the floor version. For like demos and recording stuff at home, I use an Axe FX 2, which I got like secondhand, but it's great. And then like literally like a few months after they announced the Axe FX 3, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. But yeah, it doesn't matter; it gets the job done.
So you spoiled my answer by telling everyone I play Helix. Thank you.
Way to go.
And you can explain how you
Good
led
job.
into that and your guitars as well.
Yeah, my guitars aren't super noteworthy. I play exclusively cheap guitars. I play a Sterling Music Man, which is kind of like the cheaper model of Music Man, JP60 for my stage guitar and my recording guitar. And I play through a Helix usually with the Ingle model. I forget what they call it in Helix. It's like an angle, I think, an angle meteor instead of the Ingle
generic
fireball.
model.
Yeah. But I've recently switched it up to a Rev, which is a company I hadn't heard of before, but apparently makes incredible amps. So I switched to the Rev Purple very recently. Very tight controlled gain. I'm really into it. And for software, I use Reason mostly, Propellerhead's Reason. That kind of stuff for like recording and mixing and all that.
I use Studio One as my DAW. Everybody else's gear?
I check the microphone to make sure it's at least an SM58, and that's all I give a shit about. Also, I play a semi-hollow body Ibanez that no one in this band has ever heard me play.
It's true. Never.
You have to play it for us sometime.
I mean, if we hit the next tier on Twitch, I promised that I would play Toss a Coin to Your Witcher live. So
You
I
promised,
need,
yeah.
need to brush up on my stuff. Also, share if you want me to do that. So, it's my.
Yeah.
Wait, Lily, you
It's again.
disappeared.
Yeah, she just disappeared again.
No, she just turned into a giant gray block.
Yeah, you're a
Cool.
gray
Yeah.
square right now.
that PA connection.
That PA connection.
Yeah, there she is.
Okay.
Zelda
Sorry about that,
Jazz
guys.
album?
I don't know why it's being weird now.
Does anyone care about?
no, we're
care
not-
about drums.
Maybe
Yes,
we'll
please
do
tell us about your drums.
Maybe. Like, yeah.
I play a hodgepodge of different drum gear. Not for any particular reason other than it expanding and is expensive, and cymbals, they're like great
You
Great
bored the
symbols
shit out
from
of
every
Lily,
co-
by the way.
every company. Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, she left.
Yeah, DW drums, Tama drums, all different kinds of cymbals. Just most of the time spending money on sticks and heads and cymbals because they break.
Are
But,
cymbals like more expensive than the other stuff?
Good sounding cymbals.
The cymbals are surprisingly expensive.
They
Yeah,
they
that's
are
what I've
expensive,
heard.
and if you're playing metal, they break a lot. So
Frequently.
try and practicing. I try and play on already broken cymbals and save the non-broken cymbals for live or for recording.
Being a
But,
drummer is a very expensive hobby.
Yeah,
Andy
that's
breaks
why most
sticks
people
a
use.
lot.
I don't. Not recently. I mean, I'm playing with these like thicker sticks, but so they've been holding up better. But
Yeah. You like them thick?
all right.
Why does it sound so creepy when Matt says
Question.
it?
Next question.
Okay. The next question's for me. And it's from Troopsor. I'm not sure is even in the Discord, but I'll answer this question anyways. And that's who's my favorite Star Wars character and why is it Ahsoka and it's not Ahsoka? Sorry, fans of Clone Wars.
Rude. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I totally spaced that.
Shocking.
Not for you, Kojo. It's not for you.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, I don't really care.
Obviously.
I'm sorry.
You heard Star Wars and we're just like,
Yeah,
Wow. That hurts my feelings.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, if I had to pick, it would probably be Qui-Gon. Obvious. No.
Who?
My mic just got really hot.
Holy.
That's what I'm dealing
Mike
with,
doesn't
guys,
want
by
to
the
talk
way.
about Star Wars either.
No, it just really wanted me to say Qui-Gon Jinn really
Lucasfilm's
loud.
just interjected itself into the chat. No! Copyright.
Just turned up the volume.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Twitch is watching you.
I told you guys, like, my mic is being an asshole constantly. Is my volume okay now?
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
now.
It's fine.
Okay. Jesus Christ. I had to turn it down.
Oh, my freaking camera again.
Please don't tell me you were
I am
going to
so
say Qui-Gon
sorry.
Jinn. Did you
Qui-Gon
say
Jinn.
Jinn?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
I don't even remember who
Boring
that
of a
is. I just
character.
remember the name.
God.
He
He's
died.
a great character, and especially if you go into
Pretty
like the extended
Oh,
universe.
no.
Is he in the
Alright,
doesn't count.
prequels?
I'm logging off. Hold on.
Right?
Is that one of the prequel
This
dudes?
is the
Yeah,
movies. That's all
episode
you
one.
get. Don't.
Liam Nielsen.
He's Liam Neeson. I mean,
I love
Neeson
Liam
was
Neeson.
in
that
Star
alone.
Wars?
Liam Nielsen. Darth Maul is pretty boss.
Those prequels came out when I was in elementary school. I don't remember.
The baby.
They came out while I was in elementary school as well.
Yeah.
I was 50 years old. Episode 1 premiered.
Yeah, I don't think Bit Wars is here anymore, but one of our defining elementary school moments was when I ruined the movie for him by telling him at school that Qui-Gon Jinn died. Like
Oh,
an
you asshole.
Spoiler alert.
Right?
Jesus.
I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, it's not my fault at all. So,
Spoiler
Thank you,
alert.
Bit Wars. I
oh,
agree.
he's back. He's back. Sorry.
Emperor Palpatine for the win.
Yeah. Except
There
in
you
the,
go.
the latest movie.
Oh, he was great.
I mean, I
Oh,
just watched it for the
God.
first
So
time like a
good.
week
I
ago,
loved it.
and it
Next-
was
next
more terrible than I
speak.
thought it was going to be.
Next
so-
question.
Next question.
Next
That's probably a
question.
good idea. We don't want to talk about Star Wars. That's a
No.
source.
Next question.
All right, the next question. Can you guys can hear me, right?
Star Wars
Yeah.
was
No.
never good.
No?
No.
Yes, we can hear you.
Man, fuck you, Kojo.
Matt's getting crunk drunk and angry.
Okay, the next question is from Zach Daniels on Facebook. If you guys wanted to do a full-length album specifically based on songs from only one Zelda game, which game would you choose?
I am not at liberty to say, and if I told you, I would have to kill you.
Tingle's Tea Time.
Yes,
That's not a
Tea Time with
game that
Tingle.
Tea
exists.
Time
No.
with Tingle.
That's oh my god,
I mean,
Sean,
there
you
are a few
ruined our
games that we
secret
could
album.
do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been
Um,
drinking.
I think
There are actually
thematically
some
speaking,
Tingle
any
video
of the
games.
albums,
Yeah, Tingle's Rupee Land
Japan.
Challenge or something. I
whenever
don't know.
y'all are done talking about
Rosie
nonsense.
Rupee Land.
Link's crossbow adventure.
Yeah,
That's
like
clearly the
crossbow
one.
trading.
So I think really, like the games that I think thematically would work the most for that kind of album would probably be like Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword. I think would be an interesting one just because it's kind of an origin situation. Why
You're
is
gone
my
again,
video
Lily.
too?
Ocarina of
Um,
Time, Breath of the Wild, A Link to the Past, the original.
I mean, really any of them. But for me personally, I prefer like the dark stuff. So, I mean, like for me, I would say Twilight Princess from Majora's Mask for me personally. But
Hyrule Warriors.
Those songs are mostly metal already,
Quiet.
but there are some good songs in there. I'd say just be different. Wind Waker, Link to the Past. Yeah.
see, the only reason I wouldn't say Wind Waker is because I feel like we already have a lot of material from Wind Waker.
We don't though.
We have one.
Two.
But there's not.
Wind
what
Waker would
else
make
can
a
you pick
great
from there? There's
Broadway
just
play.
Ocean
Wait, 3?
and Sky.
What are the 3?
Yeah.
Legends,
Isle of the Sky Spirits.
Isle of the Sky Spirits, and
Outside of those 2,
no, there's
I
the
think-
last one on Shadow and Steel. I can't remember its name.
Astro of the Seas.
Yeah, that one.
The one that Matt hates. The song that Matt hates.
I refuse to remember it.
Doesn't
You
even
killed
remember it.
Gojo! You killed Gojo!
Oh my-
So many inside
I've
jokes
never
happening
played
right
Link's
now.
Awakening, so I don't know. I mean, it would have to come from Kojo or Matt because I've never played it. The only songs that generally are like,
Died.
Oh my
God,
god.
you guys.
Well, we lost Kojo.
Yeah.
you literally said the name of the song several times earlier.
Listen, he comes
About how much I
prepared
hated it.
with a short-term memory. I don't know why you're
I'm just
surprised.
kidding. Master of the Seas is a good
Oh.
song until the solo section.
I'm sorry.
great
Am I
solo.
not singing the entire first part? Fuck you.
Sure, all the part Lily's
Yeah, he said it
singing
was
on.
great until
Oh,
the
okay,
solo
thank you.
section.
Until you guys take over, so it's fine.
Well, I
Yeah.
had no part in
Ooh,
that song. I wasn't in the
shots
band
fired.
yet, so.
So if I'm being real with that song, I do feel like it goes a bit off the rails after Lily
The
stops singing.
Arcadian, you basically just like defined this entire stream.
Okay, my
Matt's
voice is
voice
okay,
loud.
I'm sorry.
Lily's video is whack, and Kojo died.
All right, is that better or is it too low?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I think.
Your mic is fine. I think he was just talking about when it freaked out.
Oh,
earlier.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fine for a while.
I mean,
So
you
next
guys
question.
are getting nothing but professionalism here.
Yeah. We're
This
a very
is the most
professional
professionalism
band.
we can muster.
That's pretty
Yeah.
much how it
Just
goes.
see
in the
practice.
band.
This is way worse.
Oh, it's so much worse.
Okay, the next question is, I don't know if anyone's familiar with this, but would you ever consider a song about the Legend of Neil as a parody/gag? Then that's from Chip Gunnell on Facebook.
I don't know what that is.
What is the
Legend
Legend
of
of
Neil?
Neil?
There.
It's like I don't know if it
Next
might be like a
question.
YouTube thing. It's like
Next
a
question.
parody of Zelda.
Next
If it appeared
question.
on anything, it would be Tea Time with Tingle.
I would have to check it out first and see if it inspires
Which
me.
apparently we've announced Tea Time with Tingle on this stream.
Sorry.
Work has not begun on it,
We're
so
not gonna
don't
explain
expect it for a
anything.
while.
We're not explaining anything.
Okay, who's played Hyrule Warriors?
I have.
A little bit.
Okay, how do you feel about Lincoln? Do you think she should be introduced to canon?
I thought she was a fun character.
I wouldn't mind. She's fun. She fights with dual crossbows.
Yeah.
And,
No other character
Trunks.
fights with dual crossbows in the.
I just don't like the
franchise.
name. I don't. It's cool to have
Linkle.
another
It's
character,
a very
but
silly name.
I just don't get the
Her
name. Like,
costume's a little weird, but I like their lady. I mean, there are other ladies that are cool.
Yeah, I'd be totally.
I
I
don't know
wouldn't.
that
I'd be
she's
totally
really
cool with her
necessary.
appearing in a mainline game. They could call her something else for Andy. So.
Legend of Log.
Lonk.
Long,
Monk.
long, long, long.
We lost our host.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know
has
why.
the questions. We don't have the questions, folks. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
here he
He
comes.
wouldn't give us the questions.
Yeah,
He
that
was
was
like, nah,
by
you'll be
design.
fine. You'll be fine. You don't need no questions.
And he comes back.
What's up? What's up, everyone?
Is that an Echo t-shirt?
What?
Your t-shirt.
Oh, my T-shirt. I'm glad you brought that up.
That
Look at
doesn't
that.
have.
Y'all are so weird.
Yeah.
So this T-shirt I got from my friend Seth at the Nintendo store
one
in New York
friend.
City. My one friend Seth at the Nintendo store at New York City. It was like a limited edition thing.
That store's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that place is awesome.
If
But he
only
was
the shirt
there and he saw it, and I was like, "Oh my god, please buy that for me!" And it was like a $35 T-shirt.
Ooh.
I paid him for it. It's the most
I have
expensive
no
thing. It's the
capacity
most
to be
expensive
kind,
T-shirt I
Shabrano.
own, and I have it just.
My Breath of the Wild.
That's very
Wall
cool.
scroll.
It's
My
like
video's
a
being
quilt.
edited.
Put it on my wall. Bye, Lily.
There she goes.
I know. I don't know why my video is being so stupid today. I'm sorry. Every time I see myself stop, I just restart the thing. It's whatever.
What's the next one?
Patience.
Hi,
Oh, hey,
I'm
Mina.
just filling space.
What's Matt's least
What's up,
favorite
girl?
song?
I won't be able to narrow that down.
All the ones he didn't write.
Yep, you got it.
Damn.
Except the one you did, Koja, that I like.
Yeah, the one.
The one? Wow.
I can't remember it.
So
I'm sure it was good though. No, it's the last one on.
Forgotten in Stone.
Yeah. I've
What's
suddenly
happened
forgotten
to
all
you,
of our
Matt?
songs.
The alcohol must be hitting you.
What's the most underrated Zelda game in your opinion? From I don't know how to pronounce his
Link
name.
Between Worlds.
Andrew Fights on Facebook.
I don't think Link Between Worlds is underrated. I think that everyone that I know says wonderful things about it.
Oh,
I
I
haven't
feel like
played it.
nobody talks about it though. At least
Well, I mean-
nobody talks about it anymore. Like
It's a great Link to the Past remake. I wouldn't say it's like groundbreaking in a lot of ways.
Wand
That's
of
Mina.
Gamelon.
Mina is the cute little Cora.
Wand of Gamelon. God, those are just
The
terrible.
CDI games are underrated. I said it.
They are accurately rated.
I would say Skyward Sword. I feel like there's 3 or 4 things I hate about that game, but there's so many good things about it. I don't know.
What are those good things?
Hard disagree.
I mean, the music
Yeah,
across
I
the
hate
board
Skyward
is
Sword.
wonderful.
I agree with that.
So many amazing dungeons,
I like Skyward
And-
Sword.
and then it was like one of the first games that like really makes you use a lot of the items again in other dungeons. Like so many games where you get an item and it's specifically used in that one dungeon. I
Mhm.
love how like the further you got in the game, you had to keep going back to certain items. That made it really interesting for me.
I didn't
But
like
I
how
hated
linear
it.
it
That he
was.
didn't
It was
like
a very
it.
linear game.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
totally
fine.
agree. I totally agree. That's one thing I hate about it. I hate fighting that giant thumb
Oh
that
yeah.
comes out of the ground like 3 times. I hated it.
The controls are a bit wonky.
Yeah,
The
I would
controls
have
were
liked.
so wonky.
I would have liked not having to use the Wiimote.
I remember
the
kind of
whole time.
enjoying that at the time because it uses the Wiimote Plus, which had better like tracking.
It was
You had to
a
like
little better.
slice them in certain ways instead of just tapping A repeatedly until they die.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I would.
I
have
haven't
liked
played
the
it in like
choice.
9
What
years,
the-
so I don't know though.
I would have liked the choice, and I'm sure it's making it difficult to like make a remaster of it now.
I mean, the Switch Joy Cons have motion controls, so they could.
They could, but
I don't
Then
think
you'd
they
have to play
will.
the
It's
game
not
with the
most
Joy-Cons,
popular Zelda
Gojo.
game that they could put on
So?
there right now.
The Joy-Con.
I feel
I feel like that would be
not a
pretty
fan
low
of the
on the
Joy-Cons.
total.
I guess you just don't have enough joy.
Well, that's true.
I
Next
would like
question.
Next
whatever.
question. Sorry.
Okay.
Continue, Andy.
Zelda 2.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Who can get past like the second level?
Yeah.
It's a very difficult game.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
I mean, I'd probably say Majora's Mask only because a lot of people like that game, but a lot of people hate it.
Really, I didn't even know people hated it.
Yeah.
It's like people either love it or they just didn't really bother to play it much.
No, there's a lot of people who just hate it because of it.
I
there's a
hate
time
being
limit.
pressured by times.
Yeah.
I hate.
But you can go back in time, so it's all right. You
Yeah,
can
you
slow
slow
down
down
time, too.
Like there's no issue.
I felt that
Jesus.
way at first, but then I realized it's not actually that bad.
I have a love-hate relationship with that game. I love the music and I love the stories, but fuck if I'm gonna have a schedule when I am outside of work. I am here to play a game.
Oh, we
so
know.
Screw you. I'm going home.
All the inside jokes. It's wonderful.
All right, what would you guys do for a Klondike bar from Mitchy Mouse?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Some people
I've seen
might.
what he'll do for a Klondike bar.
Was Klondike Bar Sean's nickname in prison?
Probably.
The Reese's Klondike bar.
How
Oh my
many-
god, it's so
I
fucking.
didn't know
Prison
that
nicknames
existed.
does Sean have?
He's had so many.
Prison.
There's-
I mean,
Kept the
Sean has
tally to
been in
begin
prison
with.
about 7 times, so you know.
Oh, that's a
More than
very
that.
low number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so
We're on the last two questions.
last two.
This is a rapid fire. Who is your favorite musician if you had to pick one? And that's from Jared Begay on Facebook.
Very difficult, but Devin Townsend.
John Schaefer, Iced Earth.
Freddie Mercury.
Gavin Harrison from Porcupine Tree.
Richie Blackmore, Rainbow, Deep Purple. Okay. And this is our final question, at least the pre-decided questions. And I saved the best for last. This is from Kat Vidam. It's a fuck, marry, kill question.
Oh, great.
So
I'm scared.
this is an 18+ channel, if you guys didn't realize
Yeah, it's
that.
a mature channel.
Hope there are no 7-year-olds watching this right now.
His Mina's still
Only about
downstairs.
bandmates. Only
He just
bandmates.
came back down.
Oh,
Only
no. Should we wait?
We're not doing.
Continue. Headphones.
I don't think we want to go
Okay,
down
good.
that rabbit hole with bandmates.
Headphones.
Gross. Please no.
Okay, we have two choices. We can either do either the male or female choice. I'll leave it up to you guys.
What does that mean?
You have either 3 male characters or 3 female characters,
Oh, okay.
Kojo.
I didn't know if you meant the choice geared towards males or the choice geared towards females.
Well, obviously we're gearing it towards males because that's
Wait,
the
so
only
what's the
people who
question?
watch.
Just give us the
I'm just
options.
kidding. I know we have a few female fans. I'm sorry.
Why don't you just give us the options? Maybe we'll pick some males and some females.
Okay, the male
us both.
options
Hurry
are
up. Come on,
Darunia,
Jesus Christ.
Ganondorf, and Sidon. And the female options are Zelda, Rudo, and Nabooru.
Ooh. I
Wait,
don't
can you
know.
say those
Tough.
again?
God.
Gandalf, who and who?
Slower this time.
Yes,
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Rapid fire.
Gandalf.
You have all versions of Gandalf. That's your male options.
Wait, Ganondorf or Gandalf?
He said
Gandalf the Grey,
first time.
Gandalf the White, or Gandalf the Maya.
It's not even a color.
Oh, Kojo.
I still have the
Ganondorf.
question.
Darunia the Goron, Ganondorf the Gerudo, or Sidon the Zora. You got that,
I
Kojo?
don't know. That's weird.
Can't answer this question.
Do you want the female options?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's. Even
Zelda?
I think the male options are weird. I can't
Zelda
do
the
it.
Princess of Hyrule. Have you heard of her?
How do I-
Rudo.
The Legend of what's her name?
Rudo the Zora or
Rudo the
Nabooru
braidhead
the
girl.
Gerudo. Gerudo, whatever.
Rude.
I don't know if you'd be able to kill
Right.
Naruto.
Real Monster says no Midna.
You said Naruto. You
I
like
know,
100%
where's
Midna?
said Naruto.
Where's Midna in this?
She's not an
Because
option.
we will all choose Midna. Let's be.
We'll all fuck Midna. Let's
No,
Yeah.
Midna would
Including
fuck
Lily.
you.
That's accurate.
So,
No one-
Midna, next question.
No, come on.
Ganondorf. What the fuck?
I did not say
You
Ganondorf.
absolutely said Ganondorf.
So I
Gandalf.
guess I'll answer first. I'm gonna. What was it? Naruto?
It's not
Naruto?
Naruto. We're not watching Naruto.
Naruto?
These questions
It's
are hard.
Naruto. Little
Princess
blonde
Ruto.
boy.
All right, I would kill Ruto. Marry Zelda.
Of course you'd marry Zelda. She's a fucking princess.
And fuck the other one.
Naburu.
Ganondorf.
Which I would agree. Like, that's the one. That's the one you've got to choose, right?
All right.
She seems
We'll just let
feisty.
Coach answer for everyone.
Ganondorf Lundgren.
Oh my god.
Oh god. All right, let's move on.
This question is done.
All right, that was the last prepared question. So we're
Now it's
taking
time for
questions
chat.
from the chat now. Go for it, guys.
We'll try
What
to
y'all
get
wanna
to
know?
as many people as we can.
Whoa.
Let's name
Oh,
a
he-
newcomer. How do you activate slow mode?
Then-
Chat settings.
Wow, there's a lot of questions
Like,
in that one.
I know.
Yep.
I think we would absolutely love to release on vinyl.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
I
it's
think that'll
just so
probably
expensive.
be on the next. At least on the next full album that we do, I think that
If
we're
we
gonna
could-
have that as a Kickstarter option because of the album, because of the theme of the album that we're not gonna tell you about. So.
If it'll fit on a vinyl. Vinyls don't hold that much.
Mm.
Would we ever play? We played a terrible
I guess we'll
fate
see.
in
I mean, we
at
could do-
Backfest, didn't we?
Do vinyl.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Was that?
Figure it out.
Yeah, I guess that was the last time we played it.
I mean, we're all drinking different things, and yes, we would highly recommend it.
I'm drinking Jim Beam vanilla whiskey.
I'm
No,
having
it's backwards, isn't it?
a mango White Claw.
Would we ever play a Terrible Fate again? I mean, I think we have recently.
Yeah.
We played at Magfest
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's
We, we
it's
still have that in the set. It's just not quite as regular now because we have newer songs.
yeah, that song is one of my favorites to play live. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a Schofferhofer Hefeweizen
Sorry?
grapefruit beer.
I don't know the answer to
it's
that. I
German.
don't really watch a lot of YouTubers.
is there a difference between U.S. power metal and European power?
Oh yeah, huge difference.
Yeah.
I don't listen to power metal, so I don't even know.
So question from the Real Monster D: is there a video game based YouTuber or other personality you would love to be or to collaborate or be interviewed by? Anyone.
A ton of them, yeah. Anyone who's willing.
Yeah, pretty much. And anybody who's
That's Matt's go-to usually. Anyone who's willing.
Yeah, Hefeweizens are great.
Jack Catch 13: if you could own a piece of land, building, castle, etc. from the games, what would you choose? I would choose the Temple of Time.
Hyrule Castle because
Yeah,
it's a castle.
definitely Hyrule Castle.
best or most memorable moment on stage.
Dragon Con. That was baller. I don't even remember the show. No, it's interesting because you
It-
say most memorable moment. I remember it being amazing, but I felt like I was like a totally different person whenever I
Yeah.
was on.
No, I
that
felt the same, and
left.
it was weird because like
Yeah, I was the same at MagFest 2018. Like it was like you pop into another shell and then go on stage and then you're done and you're like, that was amazing, but you don't remember any
yeah,
of it.
Dragon
You see
Con
it.
was insane. Like the amount of people there was like similar to Magfest. if
And
you
it
went
was
to that
2
one.
a.m.
It was
Yeah.
very early.
We were like,
yeah.
there's gonna be no one there. This is crazy. And then there were so many people, and they were just there, and they loved us. And like people who we had met earlier in the weekend just started shouting at us from the
But
crowd. It
there was
really
like
cool.
there was no pictures, there was no video, there was no like there's no way to prove we
no
actually did that
evidence.
show.
Nothing to ruin the dream.
But I remember it being one of our best shows ever, and it really sucks
Yeah.
there's no video of it.
What would it take
Lily,
for you to
what-
make it to Europe? Money.
Money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if somebody wanted to pay our way there, like
I've been
Yeah, traveling
advertising
is
really
expensive.
heavily.
Traveling overseas
Europe.
is more expensive.
So
I mean, if there are like once again, we like usually plan tours around larger shows. So if we ever got asked to do a larger show in Europe, then we would probably try to plan a tour around it.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Somebody
is
wants
probably what
Lily
it
to
would be.
cosplay as Midna for a show.
You know, I want to so much, but I want to do like Imp Midna, and that headpiece is so hard to make and or find. So I have to talk Sean into doing it for me so that I can have the headpiece and have it not look terrible. But I want to know that it is in my brain. I really
You
want to.
kind of played like Midna, the second form in the Let Me Show You the Night
a little
video.
bit. A little bit, but you've got to have the like. I didn't have any of the designs on like the cape or anything like that. Like I would want it to be
Yeah, it was
authentic,
like, generic.
Yeah.
Midna.
You guys hear that?
What?
Okay, good.
Ghost in the
Are you
Machine.
hearing things?
Some people cutting grass right outside.
Oh,
Cool.
it's true. It's crazy how much you don't remember from like shows that are bigger, like Dragon Con or MagFest. Like you remember the energy more than you remember the actual performance. Like if you then see yourself live, you're like, oh, I did that. That's crazy. Like I didn't know that I did that at the time because you're just so into it in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So much
Lily
fun.
did a handstand at one of her shows at MagFest this year. It was crazy.
What?
That
Matt
definitely
forgot it
did
too.
not- That did not happen. I don't do handstands.
I did a
If you
cool
want to see
spin
somebody
at
does crazy
VGM
acrobatics on
Con.
stage and is
All right,
super old, though.
Important question. The Arcadian Plays asked if I have a website for my leatherwork, and yes, it's on Instagram, Seanster Leatherworks. Follow.
You
Yes.
should type that in the comments so that they know exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, VGM Con was another one of those shows where I thought, like, I did a great performance, but it wasn't recorded, so.
Yeah,
No one
I had a
knows.
great time there. Great performance. People were into it.
I blacked
Yeah.
out. I have no idea.
That's most of my shows, so.
I had a great time, but I remember being really tired for that final show, and I was like really mad that I couldn't do stuff that I normally did. And then I think I forgot words to a song that I'd never forgotten words to. Like it was a rough
Oh
day.
yeah, and Lily
I think I
almost
needed more
stepped
sleep.
on Matt's hand during that show.
What?
Matt dropped his pick behind Lily, and Lily was backing up, and she almost stepped on his hand as he
Oh
was
my
bending
God.
down to pick up his pick.
I didn't
That's
notice that.
horrifying.
Wait, what are you talking
They
about?
They
I
did
didn't notice she
record
was about to
afterwards.
step
the
on
show,
it.
but they
All the
lost the
performances
footage.
were recorded, but ours, like something happened to ours
Of
where
course
it didn't make it. I
would.
guess I don't know. It went weird. Just
Yeah,
like
something
us.
happened.
I
It
I
might
was
have been. It
surprised.
might have been just that bad.
No, it
Like,
was,
we're
it
not
was a
gonna
good
show this
show
to
for the
them.
most part.
We're sorry. They'll never come back if they see this.
The Chicago show was actually the one I was the most tired at on that
Same here.
tour.
Chicago was the worst for me, and that was the one that was like really well recorded.
Yeah, that one was well documented. I was barely conscious during that show.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone who came and enjoyed that.
Right.
Yeah, that was-
Shigrano, I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not a sports person. So
Me neither, I'm
hopefully
sorry.
somebody else might
Yeah,
be.
this
but-
whole band is
I
not
have
sports
seen
affiliated.
the game and it was fun, but that's the
Nerds.
extent of it. We're a
Sports
bunch of-
games?
We're a bunch of dorks over here.
Yeah.
We don't do the sports stuff. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, we failed you.
we fail a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a thing. It happened.
Just ask our parents.
Oh,
No.
Too real.
Too real.
listen, my parents support me now. They didn't support me in my first band because that band was shit. They shouldn't have supported me.
That's
They
fair,
made the
yeah.
right call there. Zora fishing. I mean, is that a competitive sport?
I feel like that's Matt's
What is the
bias.
biggest fish you can catch?
I feel like Zora fishing is a hate crime.
Was it like 24 pounds? 24 inches?
in
I
what?
Ocarina
In
of
real
Time?
life?
know.
Oh, okay. I've
I
no
don't
clue.
think they have
I never
footage of
messed
us,
with the
though.
fishing that in depth.
Is there actually footage of VGM Con on YouTube? That's okay. I'll have to check that out.
There is, but I don't think that our footage made it there.
Well, he's saying that someone else recorded it.
But I think that was the guy who was recording everybody.
Was it?
I could be wrong. I don't know. I was tired.
Okay, you have to link that to us,
Right.
You got
Arcadia.
You guys
You
saw
guys
a
saw a
version of your.
version of yourselves as puppets performing. Would you think it would be funny or creepy?
I would love that.
I don't know,
it would be
depends
like
on how
the
much y'all had.
that
We have
What
Funko
Genesis
kind of
song.
puppets? Are we talking like Muppets? Because I think Muppets are hilarious.
I would love a Muppet version of me
It was
playing.
Yeah.
it was
or
Land of Confusion. Genesis did a song where they had a music video and it was all puppets.
Yeah, if you could
performing.
post a link of us playing, that would be great. At VGM Con.
Damn,
Maybe
yeah,
he should
we had
send it
no
to us
idea that was a
privately in
thing.
case it sucks real bad. What is your go-to thing
Thank you
to
for
do on the
following
road?
Thrash Hard.
Sleep. Lots of sleep. And snacking. I
drive.
encourage everyone to snack probably way more than they should. I snack a lot.
She does.
Hey, Painted
It's like
Dreams, what
junk
up?
too.
It's all junk. We started with Sour Patch Kids, and then we went to combos, and then we went to Cheez-Its, and then it all went even more downhill from there.
You're just talking about yourself.
Lily was basically just in a pile of crap in the rear seat of the van.
Pile of people and snacks.
Any other
Hey,
questions?
people were eating my snacks. It wasn't just me, but I brought them, so it's my fault.
Definitely your fault. It's always your fault.
It's
The,
always my fault. I
the
accept it.
Burnt Cheez-Its.
The extra toasty
Extra
Cheez-Its, they
toasty
are not
Cheez-Its,
called
sorry.
burnt Cheez-Its. Thank you very much.
I love Haken. They're cool.
Hawken.
Isn't it Haken?
Hawken?
Hawken.
Is it Haken?
I don't know.
What's happening?
I've heard it both ways. I don't know.
Are fans buying all of your merch and visiting a lot of your shows creepy or a good thing? I mean, it's
Well, I mean,
generally
it's always a
good
good
thing when they
It's a
go
very
to our
good thing.
shows and buy our stuff. I mean, it's creepy when they ask us creepy questions or say creepy things like "you look really good in leather" or "will you marry me?" So try to avoid things like that whenever you're coming to
Yeah,
one of
I
our
hate
shows.
when people
but
ask me
otherwise,
that.
we'll talk to you.
But she does appreciate you're beautiful on the inside and out.
Right. That's a nice one. Or I promise I'm not hitting on you. Can I buy you a drink? That one's good too.
Been there.
I get that a lot. Yeah.
Sean gets it the most.
It's usually
There
creepy.
There was a
little
guy
guys.
who tried to make out with Sean at a show.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Yep.
There's no
It's
time
muy
for me
caliente.
to get that. By the
So
time I'm
it's
done
Haken.
packing up my drums,
I actually didn't know how that was
everyone's
pronounced.
gone.
All the people are gone.
And only the sadness remains.
Oh,
Aw.
so sad.
Painted Dreams, we did a few of your questions.
Yeah.
So you have to rewatch it later.
Oh no. I mean, Michelle, if you
Oh,
said
they
it to me,
pronounce it
I would think that
Haken.
it was cute. But you know, most of the people who say it are creepy, so it doesn't work.
Oh, Shegrano likes her.
Biggest Zelda collector in
Likes
the
the
band.
mat.
Games, toys, shirts.
Thank you.
All merch counts. I don't know. I think Matt probably.
What? The biggest
Who is
Zelda
the
collector?
biggest Zelda collector in the band?
I don't
Oh,
know.
definitely
Like
Matt.
I am not typically a collector of anything. I do have a few Zelda items, but
Actually, it might be me. I have so much Zelda artwork. I have like a whole wall.
Andy
coming
You
has
up
a
do
my
lot.
have a
wall.
lot of.
I have a lot of stuff. I
Yeah.
I've never like put it together to like count how much stuff I have, but
Andy and I are
Probably
gonna
a
have
good
to get
amount.
really competitive about it and like count our stuff and then let each other know and then we'll post it.
probably not. But
I have a
I think I have
Toon
like
Link
10 pieces of
plushie.
Zelda art on my wall and like all of the games, most of which I just haven't played.
that's
so.
such a Sean joke, the Arcadian, by the way.
Excuse me, does this smell like Lormore? Oh my god, that's terrible.
Well, it usually works for me.
Wow. Matt's grown on me like a tumor.
Thanks for coming by, Rat One.
Thanks for coming by. Do you guys have any other questions? As we stare at Sean's insulation.
I got a pee
Or
again.
Zelda
So
art
are
books.
we?
Don't look at my
Pretty nice.
insulation.
I know, so do I. I've drank some beers.
Somebody wants to.
So my man found him at his work and
Ash.
thought that I would love him because he is Star Trek and was 100% correct. So now Riker is mine. And I'd really like to get a full-sized Padme Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard and also a Will Wheaton as Wesley Crusher so that I can face them toward each other so he can feel like he's saying "Shut up, Wesley," but all the time. That's my goal.
Netflix,
Netflix.
I don't have either of those.
Disney Plus just doesn't have enough right now.
Yeah,
This is The
I'd say
Mandalorian,
Netflix.
but
I
Disney
watched it
Plus
already.
is nice, but The Mandalorian doesn't have any new episodes now.
Disney
so.
Plus is great if you have kids.
Mhm.
True. I'm gonna watch Star Wars on my original trilogy set. I'm not gonna watch the butchered
Right.
versions
Edited.
that are up on.
Although I will say, when they put up the versions that they did, they have the episode 4, I believe, that has like the weird. Whenever you first meet Obi-Wan Kenobi, he does that like wee noise, like the weird shit that he does in the original one.
The
They put back in the
ooh-wee
episode.
noise?
Oh my god, you have to listen to it because it's the most ridiculous noise.
No,
that you-
I know what happened.
And it's in that version that they put on there, and I was
You're
so
talking
pleased.
Obi-Wan makes that noise?
Yes.
He scares off the sand.
The sand
guys.
people.
Yeah, the sand people.
Yeah.
Jack
You have to
Catch
watch it.
13.
Because you don't realize that
It's like a
there until you
dragon
hear
noise.
it,
I
and
forget
you're
the name of
like,
the
"What
dragon."
fuck
I
is
never
that noise?"
really understood what was happening there. I didn't know, like, I thought that was one of the sand people that made that noise.
No, it was
No.
him, and it was super weird.
Jack Catch 13 wants to know what superpower would we want to have. For me, it's teleportation or flight.
Yeah,
Teleportation
one of those two.
simply because like you wouldn't have to commute anywhere. It wouldn't take any time to get anywhere. Just be at the place you want to go.
Right. I'd say the same.
Immortality.
Oh.
Shagrana, we are not all. Well, I mean, we're
Immortality
kind of centralized.
needs like a ton of asterisks next to it.
I would need to be able to kill myself at some point.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna
Sure.
like survive the end of the
Done.
world and just be like floating
Floating
in
in
space.
space forever.
You just build a rocket and find
true.
someplace new.
Yeah, but there's never going to be any people. It's going to be things that you can't interact with because you don't know how to communicate with them.
It's true.
All right, way to ruin that one.
I'm sorry. Also, you would
Shagrana.
outlive your family.
Everybody lives in Maryland except for me. I live in Pennsylvania. So generally, we go to Sean's house to practice.
Obviously, we haven't done that recently.
The insulation you're
Yes, the
experiencing.
insulation place where Sean is right now is where we usually practice.
Favorite Zelda weapons?
I don't know.
I like the hook shot.
Probably
Yeah, the
I
hook
was
shot
going to
is
say hook
cool.
shot.
Hook shot's
Is that a
fun.
weapon, though?
Oh,
I mean,
besides
yes,
the
you
sword.
can
It
kill
can be.
things with
It
it.
is a
but-
You
weapon.
can kill things with it. It's a weapon.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a sharp end.
It's deadly. It's versatile, and it's useful.
I loved the
Spinner.
no, what was that? Man, those like the hardest things to beat in Breath of the Wild.
The Guardians.
Lily's
not the
doing it
Guardian.
again.
We don't.
The
Lionels.
swords, finals, yes. The swords you get those the one-handed. Those are pretty awesome.
I like that Lily just leaves anytime Andy's talking.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's a chat. That's a whole chat.
Actually, I'm gonna go pee. Bye.
Actually, I'm gonna get some water.
Well, we can't all leave.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'll wait for them to come back.
I need another drink, but I'm gonna wait
God.
till they come back.
What would be a reason any of you would end up in prison?
Oh.
Matt for drug possession and Sean for aggravated assault.
Wow.
When have I ever fought anyone?
That's wow. Yeah.
I got arrested
Do I
for
come
having too
across
much
as like
fun.
a huge drug user to you?
No, you come across as somebody who could end up falling down that hole.
Well, tell me this: prescription drugs are like street drugs.
I don't know.
So Lily, what you missed is Kojo is like, yeah, I could see you like shooting up in an alleyway. It's pretty.
That's not what I said.
That is kind of what you
Kojo's-
said.
Kojo told us
Oh.
what we'd go to jail for, and for me it was drug use, and Sean for just murdering people. I
Aggravated
guess.
assault.
Aggravated assault. Yeah.
No, Sean's would not be aggravated assault. I disagree. I don't know what Sean's would be.
Having too much fun.
Public intoxication.
Yes.
Yes.
Public intoxication.
I would definitely go to jail for that.
So what would mine be, Kojo? Judgy McJudgy.
Oh, no,
Aggravated
definitely
assault.
assault.
Yeah, hers would be aggravated assault.
Aggravated
Would be the
assault.
aggravated
Christian
assault.
would be aggravated
Sean would be
assault.
public intoxication. Apparently, Matt's would be drugs.
Yeah.
Jesus. What would yours be, Kojo?
I don't know.
She only disagrees with the assault, but not with Matt abusing children.
Human trafficking.
Don't pretend to know the things that you do when you're buying.
I'm not a big
I'm
drug user.
kidding. Oh
I
my
mean,
god. I didn't even say it to begin with. I'm just getting in trouble for not disagreeing. That's garbage,
Yeah, you showed up and you get accused.
right?
It's enough.
It's rude.
I feel like Kojo would be for
Oh, hey, Chris
being a
showed up.
spy.
Hey.
To be for what?
Being a spy or hacking.
I'm not good enough with computers to hack.
Yeah, but you look like
Andy's
you
would
could
be being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I could be a spy
What?
though.
Unwitting accomplice.
Yes.
By the way, if you
No,
guys
Andy, Andy would get framed for a crime, and wouldn't be able to
Probably.
explain the situation
Yeah.
to the cops.
He'd be like,
Yeah.
I
Nailed it.
I'll just go to jail.
We'll sort this out later. It's fine. You had to perform a show, but you all had to look like one band member. Who would
Kojo
you all
would be an
decide to
overdue
look like?
library book.
I mean, I would
I
look
could
like
see it.
me because I'm prettier than all of the rest of them.
Oh my god.
It
We
looked
should
like
all
one
just dress up
band
as Lily
member.
for one show.
John and I
Yes,
could probably
we should.
swap
Oh my
places
God,
and nobody
that'd
would
be
notice. In fact, we do that. When we did that, and let me show you tonight. Like the
It was Forsaken Tribe, I think.
Forsaken Tribe. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys switched.
You play bass, and I play bass,
Oh,
and you
that's
play the
right.
drums.
That was so funny.
Or yeah, the guy shooting the video was doing a close up on me, and they just like, yeah, let's switch places. Who gives a fuck?
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
They were just pretending to play each other's instruments.
Someone recorded
I was
it.
about to say, Andy, you can play bass.
Nope.
It was like, nah, this is just fun.
Pain and
I
Dream's
agree, the
asking if we have a
corset.
favorite beer. I don't know if I have
All
a
of
favorite.
them.
Yeah, I
I
like to
really
try
like-
new beers.
I like Flying
Same.
Dog.
I like to try new things.
Well, that's a
Yes,
brand.
Dog-
Like,
dog-
I'll dress as
Dogfish.
me, and then I'll dress as Midna.
Dogfish
I'll be right
90-minute IPA is up there.
oh,
Yep,
Oh,
Kojo's
we
gone.
lost Kojo.
bye, Koja.
He pulled a Lily.
No, I'm coming back. I need to see you get a
It's
drink.
pulling a Lily. It happened enough times.
Can't see your room without you there.
And apparently the conversation stops once Kojo leaves.
He
Yeah.
was the key.
We didn't realize he was such an anchor. But he is.
Key lime
Key
pie
lime pie.
sour. That
I have
sounds
to
pretty
try
good.
that. That does sound up my alley.
I would say my favorite beer is that Dragon's Milk Raspberry, but it's also super dangerous because it is very alcoholic.
I like the tree.
And apparently hard to
Flying
find.
I like most like Hefeweizens. That's my favorite type
Yeah.
of beer.
I'm an
Ra-
IPA drinker.
I like anything with raspberry flavor. Like I love raspberry wine and raspberry beer. Like Trogs makes a really good raspberry beer. Yeah, any raspberry wines. I'm just a
You
huge
lost
fan
our
of the
Kojo
flavor.
mojo.
Poor
Next question.
Kojo. Maybe he had to pee.
I think
And
that's where
just
he went.
felt like turning the camera off instead of the rest of us who just walked away. I figured you guys would understand. It's fine.
No, it's funny because the last time he walked away, Andy was speaking too.
Oh,
Both times, yeah.
you just drove us away. Or just me, apparently. Sorry.
Just you.
I just have to pee when I have to pee. If you want to know who in the band has the smallest bladder, it's definitely me.
Actually, I kind of need to pee and get a drink too. So good luck, guys.
Oh, thanks.
Next question.
Yes. Any more questions, guys? We are here to answer your questions. But yes, Hefeweizens are good. There's a grapefruit Hefeweizen that's amazing that I think I had last year or the year before, which I think that restaurant moved. Donor Bistro, because I think that they
Well, they
Lot-
had two
location.
locations. The one in Frederick closed.
Yeah, because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
What other game or movie franchises are you guys into? I really like,
Witcher.
yes, The Witcher,
The Witcher.
Assassin's Creed, um, Tomb Raider. I loved all three of the newer Tomb Raider games.
Yeah, they were awesome.
The first Tomb Raider game is what actually got me into gaming in the first place because I wasn't allowed to play video games when I was a kid. But yeah, it was a really good game.
All right, so I'm going to
Resident
answer
Evil.
this for Shagrano. Your worst experience on stage. So this probably wasn't the worst experience for me, but for the band.
Oh no.
Probably that Delaware show where there was no one in
Oh
attendance.
no.
So I may have had a smidge too much to drink. And yeah, I thought I did great, but apparently not so much.
I mean, it wasn't bad. You could have been a lot worse. You were pretty drunk, but we got you stopped at an appropriate time, I think, to then just fend other people off giving you alcohol. That was the biggest problem, was that other people kept trying to give you alcohol.
Yeah, so I remember about half the set, and the other half of the set.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst. So I'd say the worst was whenever Sean couldn't come on tour with us.
Yeah, that was fun.
The band before Master Sword that I was in was Lyzinc, and it was awesome. And Kent is a great bass player and moves around a lot, but I still felt like I had to be more of a front person sometimes than I have to be in Master Sword, because I can rely on Sean to like move around and be
Well, we
really
trade off,
dynamic
so,
and like go into the crowd and like take the attention away from me so that I can like grab a drink or relax. But like when Sean couldn't be there, it was really hard because I was like, now I am like 100% of the attention right now, and I need to not be doing these things. So it was exhausting the entire time. I
Yeah,
would say
because
that
who gives
was.
a fuck
was-
about the drums?
I mean, you're so far back there; they can hear you, and you're amazing. But what do you? You're not like
No,
dancing around with your
I
ass. or
understand it's a
anything.
joke. I understand. No,
I mean, if you danced around with your butt more, I feel like the pressure would be off me. So maybe you should work on that.
Who's dancing
my
with their
my worst
Andy.
experience on stage was I was
butt? Ooh, that's a good one.
pretty early in my my drumming career, and one of my first shows, I was doing a cymbal choke, where you like hit the cymbal and you grab it with your hand to stop it, but I jammed my finger. I jammed the cymbal between my fingernail and my thumb,
Ugh.
and it like broke off a huge chunk of my, and I was bleeding profusely and had to like
Jesus.
stop the song
Brutal.
and like run to the bathroom to like bandage up. Yeah, it was. That sucked. That was probably like the worst time on stage I've ever had.
Wow, I can't top that. I don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, my worst time might be the one show we did without. Well, one of the shows we did without Lily.
Oh,
Mm.
when I had my surgery.
That
Yeah.
was pretty bad.
So yeah, that was pretty bad. So for one of them, we
Mag
decided.
Labs?
No, it wasn't. It was the other one.
Oh god,
Oh,
that's
the one
another
after
one.
Mag Labs.
That one was the worst. Maglab was okay. It was pretty bad, but not as bad
For
as
any
this
of the
one.
ladies in the chat, I had to get some cysts taken off of my ovaries because being a woman is terrible.
Yeah.
And so they were without me for several months and did this show that was sans vocals, and apparently it sucked real bad.
Well, we tried to put the vocal melodies on the guitar, which in
Yeah.
theory might be okay, but I got really drunk beforehand because I was really.
Oh, you're talking about Corey's
Metro?
last show?
Yeah, that was Corey's last show. It was a great sending off for him. So I had all these vocal melodies I was playing on the guitar that I just forgot because
Yeah,
I
the
was kind
Arcadian.
of drunk.
That was my second show with the band too. Like the first.
I'm surprised you didn't leave.
Right?
We're
Coach
kind
is
of
not like,
train
"Oh,
wreck.
you guys are fucked.
Yeah. Like Sean and Lily were missing from the first show I did. But I mean,
Yep,
we had
Mag Labs.
replacement for Sean at least. And then the second show I did, Lily
We have
still wasn't.
replacements for both.
What?
we had singer replacements for Lily for the.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for the
we
first
did.
one, I think Rob Bradley, Mary, and
Mary,
Kojo
and
actually
me.
sang.
Yeah.
Master Sorta.
And I watched in
Master
the
Sorta.
Twitch.
think in Twitch because
Yeah.
Mag Labs had Twitch at the time. Well, they still have Twitch. They just, we haven't done anything in a while because of coronavirus. But yeah, that was fun to watch while hopped up on like a bunch of painkillers. I was just like sitting there like, you guys are
Because
great.
she was recovering.
Woo."
She hasn't
But I
just
was on so many
habitually-
painkillers at the time.
That was It was an interesting time.
Yeah. That was awful for me. I hated not being able to sing, but there's no way I could have done it. Like, I had holes in my stomach. It was awful. I don't
So-
recommend that for anyone. If you have a
No,
choice,
we were-
which
If you have
don't.
ovaries, not recommended.
If you have ovaries, get rid of them. No, I'm just kidding. They
But
wouldn't
seriously.
take my ovaries. I told them I didn't need them, but they still wouldn't take.
No one wanted them.
Yeah, they're not worth anything.
I guess they were like, "We're just gonna leave them there," and I was like, "Whatever."
Yeah, so that show was a train wreck. Luckily, there wasn't many people in the audience, but I still felt bad
Yeah,
afterwards.
it definitely wasn't.
Yeah, it was pretty much just the other bands in the bar staff.
More people than the Delaware show.
Oh man.
The one thing I will say about VGM crowds, though, is that generally they're more than if you were just in like a generic metal band, which is great, but also sad for generic metal bands. Because I was in Lysing for a long time, and it didn't matter where we played or how much we advertised. It seemed like very rarely would we have a good crowd. So it's nice that like people from the VGM scene are great at coming out and checking out new music and being open-minded. Because apparently not all genres are like that.
Yeah.
The furthest one's probably
Minnesota, right?
Yeah, probably Minnesota. I don't think Orlando was further than that. It's hard to tell, really.
Yeah, I don't think
Or
so.
Orlando, I want to say, is closer. I've driven to Florida
Yeah.
one day before. I'm going to Minnesota. I feel like
I think
it's
Orlando was
longer.
like 11 hours, and I think Minnesota is like 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Someday we'll
stopped.
make
We
it
stopped a lot
California
more on the
or
way to
something.
Minnesota.
Or Europe.
Other shows.
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
we played a couple shows on the way.
Yeah,
to
so it
That was
didn't
the
feel
idea.
as far.
it felt longer. Yeah. Well, when we were coming back, we came back in like a day and a half or something.
Hmm.
Right?
Oh, we should
mean,
tell
I
them the
don't remember
story
us-
about the hotel. That was fun.
Oh
Where Lily
no!
tried to bamboozle
Yes.
the innkeeper.
I was super tired, and apparently I lied to the lady at the desk and told her we had less people, and then everyone, instead of correcting me, just looked at
We were
me
just-
like I was
yeah, we're
trying
like,
to
"Oh my
hoodwink
God,
her, and
we're
I'm just,
trying."
like, bossing.
Yeah, Matt and I
Looking
were
for
like,
my
"Oh, she
driver's
must have
license
some kind of
to sit in
plan
the
here."
car. And I was
just
like,
feel
nobody
bad for
said anything,
Matt.
so then they called up to the room and yelled at Matt.
They
because he
forced
was
me
the
to
only
answer
one
the
who would pick up
phone.
phone.
And I was just like, "Hello," and they were
She
just
was
like,
"We saw you sneak those 2
know."
extra people in," and we were like, "Whatever, we're going to bed now."
Yeah, I thought they were gonna like kick us out, and she's like, "We just have to add an extra charge." I was like, "Oh,
It was like
okay."
$20.
But you made
they
this really
watched you?
dramatic. They
Jeez.
watched us
Yeah,
on
they have
camera.
a camera or something
That
in the
lady
hallways.
was an asshole, though. Like to begin with, like
Yeah,
I was
she
like,
was.
"Hey, how's it going?"
I mean,
and she was like,
it was
"Give me a
like
minute."
2 a.m., but still.
We
She
were
was-
super
She was a
suspicious.
See,
Yes.
it's because I wasn't there. I'm
Yeah.
usually the one who like covers like, "Hi, my name is."
I know. They were like, "Lily, interact with this human," and I was like, "I can't interact with humans. I'm running on no
First
sleep." and I'm
mistake.
Lily
First
was like,
mistake,
"Yeah,
asking Lily to
we
interact
have
with someone."
3 people, whatever."
They probably were listening to the conversation. They were like, okay, me and Mary, we'll wait out in the parking lot. You guys go in first, and then
Yeah,
we'll
they
walk
probably
in like 10
wiretapped
minutes
to the
later.
parking lot.
Didn't you guys you ran into a skunk in the parking lot, right? And then you ran in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mary was scared of the rats, and I
Oh my god.
Red flag.
50 feet
one.
away.
Wait, what state was that? Was that Indiana?
Yeah, I think it was Indiana.
I don't remember.
And then we
I
walk
was
in,
so
and
tired.
we're like waiting for like the elevator door to open, and we can just feel her like looking at our backs.
I know.
Yeah, she was waiting. She
so
was just,
vicious.
She knew you were with us.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, like, the hotel staff apparently looked at everyone judgingly when they left the room the next morning. Like, oh, it's that room. With
How
those.
dare they go to sleep and then wake up and leave early the next day?
Yep.
So awkward.
was-
Oh my
Those
god.
were the times. Those were the times.
That tour had a lot of just interesting moments.
The
Yep.
Every time I
or
had
the
to
Lord of the
stretch
Rings
for the
pop-up
easy
bar was
drum,
fucking
I mean, the
awesome.
easy
Oh my
pass.
god, the Lord of the Rings pop-up bar was amazing.
Yeah, if you
I
guys
yeah.
haven't seen those pictures, they're pretty
Forgot
awesome.
all about that.
Sorry,
That
Sean.
was epic.
That was so cool. Those were great band photos that then Sean was not in,
Yeah.
unfortunately. We were all
That's
like
all right. There's
standing
tons of
the-
material I'm not in.
There's going to
It's
be
true.
so
It's
much
true.
more, though, once this terrible, terrible time is over.
I mean, I'll be
Right.
perfectly honest. I still use the shot of us in front of that giant MagFest crowd in a lot of social media,
Yep.
even though Kojo's not
can we
in
just
it.
can we just
Just
superimpose
edit out.
Kojo in there?
Corey.
But
Just
we
put
don't have any
Kojo's
other
face.
pictures like
Kojo
that
will
when we're
understand.
just like in front of a giant crowd, and it's so like impressive to look at. I love it.
Just have me at a totally random angle.
Just
Just
chopped
Kojo
in.
like popping in from the side, like, hello.
genius.
Just like this cut
His
out.
face, just
Super
like,
cut out.
Yeah, just put my face in place of Corey's face.
or all
Leave
of
the
the people
body.
in the crowd just put Kojo's face, like, photoshopped on everyone.
That would take a lot of work.
I mean, we have people. We could make it happen.
We-
Devin. Oops, all Gojo.
It could be
no,
worth it.
that's Andy's thing. You can't take it from him.
That's true. That is Andy's.
I mean, we
Every-
share our names,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
When did that start? What show was that?
Yeah, that was the Listerrange photo that happened on our way down to Georgia in Dragon.
Oh, that was when it
the one
started.
I wasn't at.
Just putting Kojo's face on, or not Kojo, Andy's face on everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wait,
it
there was a show
horrifying.
you weren't at?
I was there, but I flew down because I didn't want to. I couldn't get off work. Is
Mhm.
the-
Oh, yeah, I
the
remember.
actual-
I
Because I didn't want to ride. Oh, I know.
I didn't want to ride in the van with all these people.
And I wasn't at that because I had literally just joined the band and hadn't learned all the songs. The Dragon Con?
Yeah, that was one of Corey's last shows.
Yeah, that was literally a couple weeks after I joined the band.
But I mean, he was planning on doing that one for a while. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was my last show with Corey. So my last show with Corey was awesome.
Yeah, you didn't see the shameful display he was dragged out to.
Ugh.
For the last-
I tell people all the time I should have known that something was wrong with my body because when we went to a restaurant, I ordered a salad. I ordered the food that my food eats. I should have known that something was wrong.
For you, yeah. I actually like
Yes,
salads.
for me, yes. I
At
don't-
at the VGM Con hotel, like there I had that great salad. I forgot what it was.
I think I just.
All
got
right,
scared.
so-
I didn't very much.
Let's talk more about salads.
Yeah, if this chat's gonna talk about salad, I think we
They're
need to sign
great.
off.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions, or else we're going to sign off?
Do, 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 do.
All right. I think that's
All
it.
right, kids.
Yep.
All right. It was good seeing everyone. Well,
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank
seeing
you
you
so
guys.
much,
Asking
guys.
questions.
If you're not following, follow so that you can see our streams of video games. We're
Yeah,
going
and
to
if
start streaming
you-
some music stuff at some point too.
If you've got
Um,
cash to spare, subscribe. Because
Yep.
you get special emotes you can put in chat.
yeah.
Cool pictures of us.
You got one of Sean, one of Andy, and one of Lily.
Woo.
None
think we
for
can,
me and
like,
Kojo.
Unlock more if we like do stuff on Twitch or something.
Yas.
Just do stuff on Twitch.
I don't remember what the requirements are, but there are ways to
I
unlock
don't know,
more
there's a
sub
thing
emotes.
that you do in a place. I'm going to go play Animal Crossing now. So yay.
Hi everyone.
Good seeing everyone. I'll
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
tune in tomorrow. I think
We
I'm
love
playing
you.
Ocarina of Time.